Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by sourcevibrations.com.
I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
You have entered into a dimension of truth, where time does not exist and illusions are shattered. The journey of truth is intense. The journey of truth will set you free. Consider this a warning as you enter the dimension of truth uncompromised.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is Thursday, July 16th. We have a great show planned for you. We are on number 37 of our series, The Real Pilgrams, the true story of immigrants coming to America. I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. I never expected it to go this long and have so many twists and turns with the information that we have brought into play. Last week, Brother Sean brought us some information regarding how Islam came into the mix on the land in the Americas and the Moors as well. I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you did not catch that particular episode, go back and give it a listen. It is out on YouTube. And I saw a lot of comments on that particular episode when we got into those actual definitions. And it was really, really interesting. So before I move forward, I do want to give my source of references that we've used for the series, a couple of our main sources. One is called White Trash, The 400-Year of Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. The second one is They Were White and They Were Slaves, The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Early America by Michael A. Hoffman II. And then these next two books by the same author, this is the second time that we are using these books. We used it as the main source of reference in our Black Nobility series. And we gonna pull out something tonight in it again. Excellent, excellent books. I highly recommend you get these. The three that I highly recommend you get: White Trash and The Negro Question Part 6, The 13 Colonies by Lee Cummings. The Negro Question Part 4, The Missing Link by Lee Cummings. All of these are on Amazon. I truly believe that Lee Cummings books will definitely be, they are collector's items. So I will highly encourage you to get them while you can. We were able to take his work yet again and cross-reference this particular series. With the White Trash book by Nancy Eisenberg, I'm still highly shocked that she was able to get this book published to keep it real. She pretty much went in on a lot of hidden truth. So I highly encourage this as well. From my understanding, she's still doing lectures around the country, particularly in universities, on this particular book, which is a very, very good thing. And it also stayed on the New York bestsellers list for quite some time. So I would highly encourage you to get that one. And then the last one, They Were White and They Were Slaves, by Michael A. Hoffman. He's so raw with it, y'all. He didn't try to fanciful it up. He didn't try to go through no long explanations. He hit hard and raw as well. At one point, it went out of stock on Amazon, but Brother 832 told us it was back. So thank you to all of these authors for your great research, your great work, and quite frankly, your great bravery to put something forward like this to the public. All right, so with that said, I am going to bring on my co-host, and before we get into the program, I do want to read an excerpt from Sis Cheryl's declaration, but I want to bring on my host before we do that. And a shout out to all of the family in YouTube, Scotty Saturn, Sis T, Sis Cheryl's in the house, Ty, I know I saw Epic, Rhonda, it's me, Mr. Tyrese, I think I said Scotty Saturn. Shout out to you all, and shout out to the family callers. I see you all in the house as well. All right, so let me bring on Sis Sandra, and then I see Brother Sean as well. So hold on a second. Peace and love, sis.
Peace and love to you too, Sis Rhonda.
How are you, sweetie?
I'm just great. And yourself?
I'm good. It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you. Hey, family. Good to be with you today.
All right. Let me bring on Brother Sean. Peace and love, brother.
Wholeness and power. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Loving it.
Good deal. It's good to hear your voice, brother. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
I'm not sure if you had a chance to check out some of the comments from last week's show on YouTube, and folks were really tripping on that whole true definition of Moors, and they were really tripping on that.
Well, if they want to trip on that information,
it was in a
they
good
got
way.
more.
It was in a good way.
Oh.
It was definitely in a good way. They were like, wow. Yeah, no, it was definitely in a good way.
And a Moor is responsible for revealing all that, whether he knew he did that or not. I don't know.
Chow. The devil always telling themselves.
Right. If the family want to know, is our seer, the Duke of Tears.
Which he does some excellent research.
Exactly. But on that video, he skipped past those parts that we highlighted.
Oh, so he did. Bruh.
Yeah.
As the youngest say. You got to be more careful than that, sweet pea.
It was his last video, if they want to check it out.
And you just so happen to catch that little part. Y'all can't get nothing past us. I keep trying to tell folks. So don't matter if you get upset. None of that matters. It is what it is.
We read the fine print.
Yep.
Looking between the lines.
Sure do. Yep. Read the motherfucking references at the bottom. Go cross-check that. Ain't nothing to be played with. All right. So I do want to read a excerpt from Sis Cheryl's declaration. Now, again, this is an excerpt. You can find the declaration in its entirety in the description section of the YouTube video. So shout out to Sis Cheryl as well for this heartfelt, I know she wrote this from the soul. I know the ancestors were with her when she wrote this. Very, very powerful. And I really had a lot of people hitting me up wanting to connect with Sis Cheryl regarding this declaration. That's how powerful it is. I've never seen anyone put anything forth that sums it up so nicely and beautiful, no hidden agendas, etc. So again, if you want the fullness of its entirety, it is listed. Link is listed in the detail of the YouTube video where you can get to it. All right, Global Notice, Declaration of Decolonization of the land mass formerly known as Turtle Island and of the descendants of the original indigenous people. We were a people once numerous, powerful, and truly independent, found by our ancestors in the quiet and uncontrolled possession of an ample domain, gradually sinking beneath our superior policy. Our arts and our arms have yielded their lands by successive treaties, each of which contain a solemn guarantee of the residue until they retain no more of their formerly extensive territory than was deemed necessary to their comfortable substance. So-called Christopher Columbus was sanctioned by the Catholic Church/Vatican to conquer lands that did not belong to them. He and his conquistadors tortured, raped, murdered, and ate the people they found on those islands. Today, their descendants continue to commit various acts of genocide against the indigenous people of those lands. Their laws, histories, educational systems, sciences, and medicines are further used to supplant the identity of those indigenous heirs to the land. We are the indigenous heirs whose history and inheritance is tied to these lands proclaim the following. All land, resources, property, movable and unmovable, thought to belong to the Catholic Church, Vatican, doing business as the United States, small caps, and the United States by the indigenous people, citing the law of Ma'at and Postilium. Land. The term land includes all physical elements in the wealth of a nation bestowed by nature, such as climate, environment, fields, forests, minerals, mountains, lakes, streams, seas, and animals. As an asset, it includes anything, 1, on the ground, such as buildings, crops, fences, trees, water. 2, above the ground, air and space and rights. And 3, under the ground, mineral rights down to the center of the earth. Precious metals refers to the classification of metals that are considered to be rare and or have high economic value. The higher relative values of these metals are driven by various factors, including their rarity, uses in industrial processes, and used as investment commodity. Precious metals include, but are not limited to, gold, silver, platinum, iridium, rhodium, and palladium. Precious stones refer to several gems, including diamonds, emeralds, ruby, and sapphire, that have high economic value because of their rarity or appearance. Human capital. Human beings used as capital in stocks, bonds, certificate, and banking schemes are all free for self-determination. Repossession becomes an act of necessity and is a self-help type of action in which the party having right of ownership of the property in question takes the property back to the party who took possession of it, whether agreed, implied, or usurped, without invoking court proceeding. Note, courts cannot rule nor make judgment when they lack jurisdiction. Therefore, it becomes necessary to forfeit and confiscate land and property thought to belong to the United States, cities, and municipalities, and repeal all U.S. federal government allotted land agreements, historically known as alienated land and allotted land of Indian country. We indigenous people demand restoration of treaty guaranteed land as well as monetary compensation. We demand restoration, restitution, and repatriation of land, of lands acquired by the United States outside valid treaties. And it's repatriation, sorry about that. We, the traditional owners, restore ourselves as custodians of this land. Devastation has been caused by the gross mismanagement of the colonists through greed. Also be advised that no monetary amount can compensate for lands illegally seized, particularly those sacred lands necessary for indigenous people to regain sacred coherence. We demand an accounting for monies given in settlement to groups falsely claiming to be descendants of the original indigenous people, descendants of the so-called $5 Indians. We, the indigenous descendants, demand the return of all lands, waterways, railroads, roads, buildings, etc. All properties illegally taken from our people who are prisoners of war. The U.S. government ignored the existence of the indigenous people on their own lands and treated our land as land free to colonize. We will not purchase any land because the land was never ceded to the United States. The land, along with many, many, many family relics and treasures, are being held in trust. We declare our independence. It's not a cessation, but a lawful unilateral withdrawal from treaty obligations permitted under the 1969 Vienna Convention as the law of treaties. We are not citizens of the USA. We offer citizenship to anyone who renounces their U.S. citizenship. U.S. colonial rule is at an end. The territory of the Republic of Indigenous Americans will include and encompass all of the land stolen and held in trust by the U.S. government. This is a manifesto representing the wisdom of thousands of people, the ancestors, and the great mystery, the great spirit. Wakan Tanka supports the rights of indigenous nations to live free and take whatever actions are needed for sovereignty. We want international recognition according to the UN Declaration of Indigenous Rights, which was affirmed, as well as the American Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous People. We were once a free people and returned to our free status, which was also affirmed by the UN Declaration of Indigenous Rights. We, therefore, terminate all treaties. Land restitution applicant and claimant must be female. According to ancestral customs and traditions, the return of land is to the maternal line. Land claims will only be honored going back through the maternal line. We demand compensation due to the practice method of supplanter and usurper for countless generations, all done under the guise of consent. All generational testing usually done under the guise of prevention, such as in the 1950s polio and the 30s syphilis, namely the infamous clinical study, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment conducted between 1932 and 1972 by the U.S. Public Health Service on so-called African Americans, indigenous American men who thought they were receiving free health care from the U.S. government. According to the U.S. Department of Interior agent Walter Plecker and government historian Jack Forbes, the Negro today are the descendants of those people called and referred to as Choctaw, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Chickamauga, and Creek. I'm so sorry. Seminole, Washita, Blackfoot, Shawnee, Shoshone, and many other Southern and Northern Clan tribes. Under the Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act, it is a federal crime when a person knowingly transfers or uses without lawful authority a means of identification of another person with the intent to commit or aid or abet any unlawful activity that constitutes a violation of federal law or that constitutes a felony under any applicable state of local law. This law was followed by the Theft Penalty Enhancement Act in 2004, which increased penalties for aggregated identity theft. Identity theft and identity fraud are terms used to refer to all types of crime in which someone wrongfully obtains and uses another person's data in some way that involves fraud or deception, typically for economic gain. We charge the United States of America, and the United States for America for our identity theft, a crime they committed in violation of its own law. All of the above make our argument and declaration as sovereign state, the Republic of Indigenous Americans. Our people never ceded their independence to the U.S. We have a long history as nations, a tradition which the U.S. recognized when it entered into treaty relationships with their governments. The U.S. stole our land, killed and enslaved our people. They tried and even today are trying to annihilate us. We stand firm and say no more. We take a stand to reclaim our land. We are the true autochthonous people of the land. Although they want to usurp our identity, their documents tell the truth. We will no longer identify ourselves by the names, labels given to us by the oppressor. We no longer identify ourselves as something that was created by colonists. We've taken a very close look at our lineage. Tribes in historiography, ancient myths, and in historiography is the belief of the historian or the tribe itself that they were indigenous, the first people to inhabit their possessed land. People who sprung from earth itself are the original inhabitants of a country as opposed to settlers. Okay, so again, that was just an excerpt from Sis Cheryl's Declaration, the Manifesto, a global notice. If you want it in its entirety, it is in the YouTube details link to get you there. So again, thank you so much, Sis Cheryl, for that power. We honor you, and the ancestors honor you as we put this out in the ethers and bring this into fruition in the physical. Thank you so much. All right, family, here we go. Sis, you have any go ahead on with the fuckery?
Well, there's a lot going on that one. I ran across a cartoon, and this cartoon represents Jim Crow. A crow with one of them, hitchhiker's back tied to it. And it's talking about Texas, Georgia, and Arizona, I think. This is him going to those states, this crow, Jim Crow, to help them with the election. So he's going to these polling places. And this is because of the Roberts Court has made, Supreme Court that is, has made some rulings. So one of them is one of over 1,600. They have been closed since the Roberts Court outed the Civil Rights Act. So, and they have various reasons for outing it. It's that they don't have it's too much money, the accessibility, and the centralization of these polling places, and that it's too costly for the accessibility of it. So what the Supreme Court has done is upheld those Jim Crow laws of the 60s. They didn't make any ruling on it, just left it the way it is for the states to do whatever they want to do. And so, which is saying nothing except for if we don't want you to vote, you're not going to vote. So for our people, this would stack up for the Democrats, who probably going to get really pissed off at Biden because he's probably going to get that fake Native American, what's her name, Warren, to run as his VP instead of the melanated one. The melanated people are asking for him to choose. And then the Supreme Court has also given the popular vote to the electorate for the states who he won the popular vote. The candidate won the popular vote. So the Supreme Court, their Supreme Court, not mine, is stacking the deck against, you know, the Democrats or against Trump, but they're stacking the deck, and I'm sure they're looking for Biden to be the popular vote. And then North Carolina is giving reparations.
I saw that. Yep.
To black folks. But see, North Carolina is where that Walter Placard was. And Cheryl mentioned that, and you mention it all the time. He was the one who was stacking the deck also against melanated people. And also North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, is where they brought the first African 20 slaves, and they were wanting the African men to rape and impregnate the melanated women so they can, you know, get rid of them. But he was changing all the documents of live and dead melanated people to show them that they're Negroes or slaves. So he's really responsible for all of that. And now here we have the Supreme Court taking a position to do the Jim Crow stuff again. So, or no position at all. They're neutral on this situation. So that means it gives the state the right to do the Jim Crow stuff, from what I understand it to be. Now, there's another thing that's happening, and I sent you a picture of the planet that's out there. And they have an article on AT&T.net that you're going to be able to see 5 planets and moon without a telescope this weekend. And when I pulled up that article, guess what I saw? We're at the Milky Way, almost at the rift of the Milky Way.
What planets did they?
I
I
got them written here.
Okay.
I mean, I have it in this article. Let me get the page here.
And I actually pulled an article on this reparations stuff. So once you finish, I'm gonna go over it with everybody, because you know it's some fuckery involved in that. Because that was actually my go ahead on with the fuckery. So I'm sorry. Go ahead,
you know,
sis.
That's bad. But it's Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing the picture of that planet, and it was with the moon the other day when I took that picture. The moon was out in full force. We had some kind of fire up here near my place, and the moon was in kind of like a smoky existence when I took the picture at 5-something in the morning, about 5 in the morning. So we probably are going to go through that Milky Way rift. It looks like we're pretty close to it, since we're so close to the moon, and we'll be able to see the Saturn and all those people. All those planets or people in great relief this weekend.
Right.
So that brings a problem to the what's really going on this planet and what they're trying to cover up, because they're not being able to cover up this stuff anymore.
Exactly.
And all these civil rights actions they are doing, like this reparation, and this COVID, of course, we ain't going to forget about this COVID stuff, because that's an undercover stuff that they're trying to cover up, that we're about to go through that rift, and we're going to have some issues when we do go through the rift, whether the sun goes first or second or whatever. So we won't be able to have electricity. The sun it's going to be black. It's a lot of things that's about to happen, and they're not telling people. They're just making people more prone to reparations and the COVID and the votes and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm seeing, that it's really something about to happen to us, and they don't want us to know about it.
Indeed, sis. So, Brother Sean, before I bring you on with the go ahead on with the fuckery, I just want to real quick share this article with the family on this reparation stuff. So let me bring it up here, family. Yeah, they think they nickel slick. But we got you. We not having it. Let me see YouTube when it moves for you all. All right, there we go. I think it just moved for you. So this is from USA Today. And the title of the article, this thing is acting funky, y'all. So I'll get the title for you in a second. This is out of Asheville, North Carolina. Of course, now it moves. The article's name is "In Historic Move, North Carolina City Approves Reparations for Black Residents." So this came out yesterday. This is from USA Today. And a brother on Facebook named Tony posted this. So shout out to Tony for posting this for us. All right. Asheville, North Carolina, in an extraordinary move, the Asheville City Council has apologized. Sorry, y'all. This thing is really slow and it's causing me to move funny. I done lost my place. Come on. All right. In an extraordinary move, the Asheville City Council has apologized for the North Carolina City historic role in slavery, discrimination, and denial of basic liberties to Black residents, and voted to provide reparations to them and their descendants. The 7-0 vote came the night of July 14th. Hundreds of Black blood spilled that basically fills the cup we drink from today. The councilman Keith Young, one of 2 African-American members of the body and the measure's chief proponent. It is simply not enough to remove statues. Black people in this country are dealing with issues that are systematic in nature. The unanimous passed resolution does not mandate direct payments. So there you go with the fuck shit. No direct payments. Instead, it will make investments in areas where Black people face disparities. Okay, so I'm just gonna read that little sentence again. The unanimous passed resolution does not mandate direct payments. Instead, it will make investments in areas where Black residents face disparities. Okay, so there's once again yet an example. In the first, number one, they're still not admitting who the true indigenous are. And then second, they made the decision on how you're going to quote, quote, correct the wrongs that have been made. And we not buying that because it's not your decision to make. Number one, it's not your land. None of it is your resources, nor did it fucking happen to you and yours. And furthermore, you don't have the authority to say who gets what, when, and how. So we don't need you to pick out what areas or programs you deem fit that the indigenous people need. We don't need it. You've had hundreds of fucking years to do it. And you have yet to do it. Matter of fact, you usurped it and put the title on someone else. Then turned around and fucked them over. So don't think for one bit that we are buying your ploy for reparations. We're not buying it. Nor is it acceptable. Because you don't have the authority to say who, what, when, and where. It is not yours. None of it. All right. So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read the rest of this article. Yeah, let me see. All right. I may not be able to read it because now all of a sudden my screen is magically freezing up. So that's that article. You can go to USA Today and read it yourself, family, for it in its entirety. It was only just a few more little sentences attached to it. All right, so that's all I had. Brother Sean, you have any, go ahead on with the fuckery?
Well, did y'all hear Dr. Phil Valentine's last video?
No.
The one before his lecture.
No, I haven't heard it. Enlighten us, my dear.
Strangely enough, he's beginning to sound a lot like us. He gets paperwork.
Really now?
And all that stuff. Yeah. Blew my mind when he said that you don't need paperwork. They don't even bother about it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad he finally waking up somewhat.
Yes.
But you know, he also mentioned about that Nibiru stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And how we had been brought it out to this water world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's water up there. What people is calling outer space is a water.
Yes.
And as above, so below.
Indeed.
All these things that you're seeing, manifesting in the quote-unquote sky, is what's going on inside of you.
That's right.
You're being upgraded.
That's right.
But you still place fear and everything else in it. You blocking your upgrade. You still let these people tell you any and everything.
Yep.
And you give your energy to it. Every time. They know exactly how to play you. Because they're using your science.
Mm.
They're using your powers against you.
Mm-hmm.
They have no power over you.
That's right.
So they get you to think a certain way. And you give away your power. Just by the way that you think. Instead of knowing. Now, with all this going on, which really has nothing to do with us.
Right.
They fighting for control. Trump said he was against the cabal, the elite, the same people that we say that we are against. But if he's willing to take them on and can do away with them, why the fuck are we interfering?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck ain't we concentrating on what the fuck we supposed to be concentrating on?
Mm.
We hear every fucking thing but us.
Yep.
They mention reparations. Motherfuckers lose their goddamn mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you see, they're investing in the community, which means they're not giving up control. They still fucking own it.
Yep.
From that aspect. When are y'all going to stop? That's the key to all of this. In order for you to pursue your path of who and what you are, you have to stop pursuing their American dream.
That's right.
America is a dream to them because it ain't theirs.
That's right. Tell it.
It's a dream to them because it's the land of milk and honey. They know this.
Yep.
That's why everybody and their goddamn mama trying to come here.
Yep.
And they actually got some of you stupid asses talking about going to Africa. And other places.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have ancestors there, that's fine.
Right.
But with a lot of us, we have Europeans, melanated Europeans, somewhere in there, because they all came over here and got with the indigenous women.
Right.
So if you really do want to pursue paperwork, you actually have a standing on 2 continents.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the angle that y'all want to take.
Mm-mm.
Consider a majority who have European ancestry.
Yep.
It's patriarchal.
Yep.
We still in the patriarchal system. Why not use that to take your land back to Europe?
Mm.
I mean, the whole planet is actually ours.
True.
Why leave them a foothold anywhere?
Absolutely.
America is the alpha and the omega. Everybody else is watching us.
Yeah.
They dependent on us. We are the ancients, the oldest people on this planet. Us. They are looking to us for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Those that belong here. And I'm still trying to figure out why our people are scared to let them go. I know why they're scared to let us go, because they won't have shit.
Not a goddamn thing.
So everybody that's thinking that they're going to wipe us all out, they can't do that.
They can't do it.
They wouldn't be able to live.
Mm-mm.
Do you know what the sun would do to their ass if it wasn't billions of black people on the planet eating those sun rays? They would literally just fucking burn up and turn to ash instantly. We the reason for the season. Always have been, always will be. But we also can't forget how big Mama is.
Indeed, indeed.
We're not tied down to one place. There's plenty of places on Mama that they ain't been and can't get to.
And can't go, yep.
All we got to do is leave. Come back in a little while, they all gone.
Indeed.
Without us, they have nothing. Give them nothing. Don't give up your energy, your time, nothing.
Indeed.
They don't deserve it. All that energy is for you. Use your energy for you.
That's right.
And then for your people. Starting with your bloodline. That's your first obligation. Knowing thyself is knowing your bloodline.
That's right.
But I digress.
Indeed, indeed, Brother Sean. Indeed. I was trying to find a little explosion sign. Because you truly brought it. You absolutely brought it, Brother Sean. Another thing, my go ahead on with the fuckery. I know y'all heard it. this whole changing of the mascot situation. So I just want to refresh folks' motherfucking memory who those mascots were really fashioned after. Folks always want to play fucking crazy and switching up the motherfucking identities yet again. So let's refresh folks' motherfucking memory that all of those mascots, sports figure mascots that they're running around saying is offensive now under the guise of the natives, that's not who they were originally created after. They were originally created after the indigenous Americans, now known as Negro, Black, and colored and African American. So let's just refresh motherfuckers' memories and put the establishment on notice that you ain't slicking us, baby. You're not out slicking us at all. So I pulled up a picture. This is the Cleveland Indians. I think this was back in the 30s, y'all. This little melanated boy, he was considered the mascot for the Cleveland Indians. He looks melanated to me. He looks what you would call Black, Negro, colored, and today they slapped a label on him as African American. So I'm going to say this again. This is the Cleveland Indians back up in the 30s. This young indigenous American, Indian American, was serving as the mascot that day. So let me just refresh y'all motherfucking memory and go through a few of these bitches. Because we ain't forgot a goddamn thing. You're not out slicking us, establishment. Trying to play these fuck ass games. Black Hawks. And the original Black Hawks symbol, he was copper colored. Kansas City Royals, copper colored. Don't look like who they're calling Indians today to me, or Native Americans to me. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
The thing is, they originally admired our people.
Sure did.
They were actually paying homage.
Yes, they were.
But they set up and used reverse psychology and got our people to hate it.
Yep.
A lot of the shit that's being torn down were other indigenous people. I mean, there's so much in these storylines that people don't care to research and find out exactly what's going on. That's like with that whole blackface thing. White comedians done that back in the day because they thought that you had to be black to be funny.
Right.
It wasn't meant as an insult. It was supposed to be flattering. Just like how over there now when they have that Moorish festival, that Moorish Christian festival.
Over in Europe. Yep.
Yeah, some of them paint their face black to represent the Moors. So, I mean, we sit up and say that they stole our identities and this, that, or the other. But then we hate the thought of it because they're using it. Then all of a sudden, that energy is a negative or derogatory energy. But that's only because we perceive it that way.
That's a very good point.
If you really look at it, they can't control that power. They tapping into shit that they don't know what to do with. So everything becomes discombobulated and hurtful.
Right.
But they're the main ones that's hurting because they can't be us.
Right.
But then you got those of us turning around trying to be them. Bleaching their skin and all this old weird shit. I mean, just some of the activities that our people have taken up. That shit that they did.
Right.
We were loving people.
Yes.
Now look how much hatred fills our people.
Yep.
And mainly about self. I digress.
All right, indeed. So the last one I want to show, 1932 Washington Redskin. Copper color. These are the original mascots / logos. It represented the indigenous copper color people. And over time, it was whitewashed to fill the narrative of who they are calling the Indians today. So I'm putting this out there to put them on notice. You ain't slicking us on that either. Nope, we caught that one too. So that's my go ahead on with the fuckery. That's my second one for the day. So, all right then. Okay, so I know we have been talking about the connection of Europe and how Europe was ran by melanated folk, i.e. the black nobility, and also I kind of talked about in the Black Nobility series and a couple of other places that even the melanated folks that were in Europe, ruling Europe, that also was not their original home. Okay, we kind of told you all kind of the journey of folks that went around the world conquering land. So I was minding my business, and out comes a video off of a channel called Conspiracy Are Us. So let me put it up. I need to mute this. So I want y'all to see these ruins that he found and pulled up. So I'm going to pull it up on the screen for you all, and then I'm going to play the video. So it might be a little bit out of sync. The word talking may be a little bit out of sync with the video because I have to play it in 2 different places and mute one. So again, and I highly recommend this channel as well. This is the channel is Conspiracies Are Us. So let me first of all bring it up on YouTube so you all can see it. Cause that when he breaks this down, y'all, I was like, when he shows these receipts, I'm like, oh, hell to the no. Okay, so here we go. Let me put it up. Again, this is off of the YouTube channel. Let me see YouTube if y'all can see it by now. Y'all should be able to see it on the screen. Yeah, you see it. All right, this is off of the YouTube channel called Conspiracies Are Us. The title of this video is The Fall of Rome. So here we go. We're only going to play about 12 minutes of it.
Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the fall of the Roman Empire. And did it happen the way they're telling us, for a period of time, or was it more of a singular event that happened suddenly? So I was looking into this concept of the fall of the Western Roman Empire in a previous video, and just to summarize, they tell us that it happened sort of over a period of about 100 years, followed by the Dark Ages. But when I started to look into the damage that you witness when you're looking at the ruins of the Roman Empire, it's quite extensive. And even in Rome, you had these photos that appear to show things buried up to 20 feet deep. And I'm not even sure if there's been an official explanation for that one. But when you look into Roman, or what we call Rome, whatever that was, when you look into it, Roman occupied Britain, you have buried Roman villas. And I don't think the Romans just left Britain. I think there was an event that destroyed what we call the Roman civilization. And for these villas, and I think they just have cover stories to cover up this event. So for instance, this Roman villa, they say that it appears that some villas were covered with dirt to trap into them the spirits of the Romans. Again, I think that's just fanciful thinking. I think that's a cover story. Then there's they find these Roman baths and bathhouses that are buried, and they didn't even know they were there. There's one of these in the Roman baths in the city of Bath, England. And from my perspective, the cover story is that this river Avon caused the silting and the flooding and silting of this site with black mud, which covered everything, and it was lost to history again. So, reasonable, but you start to see a pattern that it seems like they're coming up with different stories to account for all this. And there's this cathedral it's in England as well. It's called Exeter Cathedral. And they were doing, I think they were building something, and so they had to excavate, and about 10 feet deep, they ran into another one of these Roman bathhouses. And so they covered it back up. This was, I think, in the late 60s, early 70s. And then they, in recent times, they excavated it again. But the stories that the church fathers, and I think there was bodies in here as well. They found bodies. So I have a theory about that. But the stories that the church fathers, the church fathers, the people who built the cathedrals, they deliberately covered this up. But keep in mind, all of this nobody even knew this was here. So again, I think it's another cover story. And there was one event all this, but it's just being portrayed in different ways, or given different stories. So that's kind of been my thought. So I was looking for more Roman ruins in England and the UK, and I came across this interesting article talking about the Temple of Augustus, and they're saying it's a Libyan Roman ruin in Surrey, England. So I wanted to look into that because it might give me some more insight into my little theory here. And they're just talking about how that everything you see here was brought from a site in Libya near Tripoli, so like around 2,000 miles away. They brought all these things here and arranged them in this way to make it look like there were ruins. So that sort of sparked my interest. So I wanted to find out more about this and just a little details. The ruins, Virginia Water, the Crown Estate. So they're saying it was all imported from this Roman site of Leptis Magna near Tripoli in Libya in 1816. And the artifacts were stored in the British Museum, and then they were brought to this site in 1826. And, they reconstructed it. So I wanted to look into that a bit more, and, the controllers, their level of deceit, every once in a while, they catch me off guard with something, and like they've taken it to new heights with this one for me. I found this article talking about Europe was once obsessed with fake ruins, fake dilapidated buildings. There was this strange 18th century architectural trend. Oh boy, okay, here we go. So there was this bizarre architectural fad that swept 18th century aristocracy, so we're talking 1700s. The site of a crumbling abbey or dilapidated temple, it had become desirable. So now rich landowners all over Europe were building ruins that were not natural at all. Highly questionable. The aristocracy was building ruins from scratch or ruining their existing buildings. So there are these ruins all throughout Europe and England, and they're claiming that they're claiming a lot of these are from the 1700s, some from the early to mid 1800s, and they were built like that by design. And I'm calling BS. This is just another cover story to account for why are there all these dilapidated, ruined structures. I think and this is one of their best, actually, this one, but I'd never heard about this. These ruins, these purposeful ruins that were a fad in the 1700s. And so I think these Roman ruins, what we call Roman ruins, were already in place. They were in situ. They were already there, and this destructive event that took out what we know as the Roman Empire just did damage to this site as well as other sites, probably. And here's just some of the photos. And they're just claiming it was the architect, actually did all this. And they actually, you can tell the base of some of these things are covered with earth. So they, in the columns. So they did all that intentionally. I don't think so. So I think what it is, it's just, again, it's another cover story, just like with this bath, Roman bath in Bath, England. There's a cover story with the river, the buried Roman villas, people intentionally covering them with dirt, another cover story, and the church fathers deliberately burying this Roman bathhouse, another cover story. And again, I'm not even sure what the cover story is, but it's the same event that happened here. I think it's all one event, and it's the same event that happened here and here. So yeah, this concept of sham ruins, this, I'm speechless. It's just, we just buy this stuff. We don't question it. They tell us that it was all the rage, and what do we know? We just believe it. But now we're starting to look into these things. But just taking a look at this led me to another discovery. Looking into this little article here. So why would anyone want to erect a building that looks like it is falling down? Good question. Why choose to place a crumbling pile at the center of a newly created landscape park? That's a good question too, but so I wanted to look up, what is a landscape park? So they were spread throughout Europe as well, but they were also called in England, they were called these English landscape gardens. The English landscape garden, also called English landscape park, it was a style of landscape garden which emerged in England in the early 1700s and spread across Europe. And these landscape parks, gardens that were in England and spread through Europe, what do they feature? Ruins. So at the same time that you have this fad of this architectural fad of building ruins, you have in the 1700s and early 1800s, you have the rise of these landscape parks, these garden parks, which feature ruins, and they're full of rolling hills, and things are buried intentionally, they're telling us. But I think the landscape gardens and parks and the disaster architecture they're telling us is deliberate. Again, I think it's all just to cover up the fact there was some major disasters that happened in our past, and it's just to kind of cover it up. So I wanted to look at one of these parks that they're talking about from the 1700s, and it's in France, and it's called I'm going to butcher this, but the Desert de Retz, and I'm sure that's pronounced differently. But this particular garden park, landscape park, it's got some interesting structures, and we're told that it's on the edge of a forest, the Marley Forest, I believe, but it included between 17 and 20 structures, of which 10 still survive. But these structures are all ruined, and they're saying it was intentional. So they restored this 18th century garden, and it had this interesting column we're going to take a look at. It had pyramids, and here's this column. It sits on this base, and it's in a state of disrepair here. But again, they're saying all intentional. And here's this pyramid. Now, here's what this pyramid looked like before the restoration, just completely overgrown. And here's just a picture of this. I believe it goes by a few names. The Column House is one of the names. But again, they're just saying this was the fad, just to make it look like this. But again, I'm thinking there was an event that did all this, and it wasn't a fad that they're portraying it as. But when you look at one of the sides of the structure, you can see here where the ground level is, but when we go to the back of the structure, you can see the base of the structure, and they would probably say this was all deliberate, but I'm going to say it was buried during an event. And just looking at this here, it just makes me, and how it's buried, it makes me think of, when I was looking at some of these, I had a video where I talked about bandstands, of which apparently 1,200 were built around the UK from 1860 up until, through to the Second War. But when you look at, they have octagonal bases, but when you look at them, a lot of them have issues with ground level as well. So they appear to have been through a more recent event. And here's just another one, the bandstand at Temple Gardens.
All right, family. So let me stop this. Again, this is from the channel Conspiracy Are Us. I highly recommend that YouTube channel as well. And the name of this particular video is The Fall of Rome. And so the reason that I wanted to share this with the family, because we talked about how the inhabitants, the melanated European inhabitants of Europe were not indigenous, meaning the black nobility rulers. They were not indigenous to that land. So just to refresh folk memory, again, shout out to Lee Cummings with his excellent research. We are going to go to the Negro question part 4, the missing link. And so I am on page 8. I know that this image of a Black King James can be a little confusing because of your Western education, but this is the truth that is known by the rich and the elite in the world. That was the reason I paraded all of the English historians and professors before I got into the bowels of this book. I had to get your mind ready to receive the truth. King James came from a long line of Black Scottish Stuart kings, 343 years of rulership in Scotland. The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled France, Spain, Ireland, and England, Britain, Wales. King James, now listen to these next couple of little sentences very closely. King James was able to rule all of these lands because all of these people were of Iberian Black descent. They were the same people. I'm just going to read that again. King James was able to rule all of these lands because all of these people were of Iberian Black descent. They were the same people. If you look at the ball in his hand, it represents world rulership. And there was the only one other group of world leaders who used this type of symbolism. And they were the Byzantine Roman emperors. Remember, they told the English that the Roman citizens, this is the proof. All right. So again, that came from Brother Lee Cummings out of the Negro question, part 4, the missing link. And as you can see, the brother from Conspiracy Are Us YouTube channel, The Fall of Rome, brought the receipts from old Roman structures that are being deliberately covered up to rewrite the narrative the way folk want to rewrite the narrative. So those of you that are on the call, I highly encourage you to go back and play the YouTube video to see those ancient Roman structures. It's no question about it that they are Roman in nature, with the bathhouses. And when they were doing excavation, they were about to build something. That's when they found other Roman structures And because we told y'all, and shout out to the mud flood community, but not me, but this came from the mud flood community, which keep bringing you the receipts of how these structures are being covered in mud. Some type of catastrophe continues to happen. I call that, and the mud flood community, and I have to agree with them, the quote reset, where some type of physical earthly catastrophe happens, and with that comes mud floods, or i.e. landslides, that brings the mud to literally destroy buildings, cover them, or half cover them. So as the news of, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
But if you look at what's going on over in China,
you know I was finna say that. Go on and say it.
In the regions where the waters subside, it's covered with the mud.
Yep.
That water is moving the land.
Yep. Indeed.
And I don't know, I guess that might take into account one of the great floods that they talked about, that there have been many, not just one.
Right.
And China catching it right now.
Oh, yeah. Big time. But they knew that. Wouldn't that be why they ran their ass over to Africa?
Trying to. Yeah.
Trying to. It's not going to work.
Because they didn't woke up. They ain't on that. They don't want Bill Gates over there or vaccine. They waking up. Yep. They ain't on it.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Africans. Yep.
Indeed. But the thing is, what our people need to pay attention to, they strictly about Africa. They ain't saying shit about you niggas here. They defending their shit. They standing up for their rights. And what are we doing?
Indeed. So, those civilizations, I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
You know what brings to mind when you said Bill Gates, I think you did, before China went into Africa, they went in with a vaccine. And they were vaccinating all the women, supposedly a humanitarian process to eliminate diseases. But what I was reading in an article some time ago is that they were eliminating the women's abilities to have children. So then the colonizers comes in after they then vaccinated all the people. And the rulers of the people in Africa was allowing the Gates' foundation and all that kind of stuff to come in there. So now here we are in this country, and they're trying to do this COVID vaccine on everybody because they want to eliminate us.
That's a point, sis. And it's well taken. I think it's also for experimental purposes because we're at the quote reset, which also means not only the changing of Mother Earth's physical landscape, it's also an upgrade of your physical vessel. And I think they want to experiment to see what's going on. That's why they're begging. They are begging over in the Americas, melanated people, aka black people, to take the vaccine. Up there talking about some.
And to give blood.
Yeah. These are the reasons why we can't have a vaccine without the black American. Well, bitch, if you depending on us, you gonna be vaccineless.
And they want us to give blood too for this.
Oh yeah, they're paying big time money for blood and plasma. It is to, first of all, it's to use it for energy. But really what they're using it for is they're using it for research, because what's going on with the universe with Mama Earth is also going on in the oldest original genes, which is indigenous melanated people's genes. That's why throughout the centuries, they had to keep doing all of these experiments and taking blood and all of that fuck shit. Is to keep looking to see how you're changing from a cellular blood perspective. Because the essence of who you are is in tune with Mother Earth. Okay? Why do you think they were able to take Sister Henrietta Lacks cells and come up with all of these vaccines and shit and do tests on around the fucking world? Polio, AIDS, just a gamut of shit. They had to use the original genotype, and specifically that of a melanated woman. So it goes deeper than them, quote, quote, trying to kill us. Number one, they can't. Because if they wanted to kill us, goddamn it, we would have been gone. So number one, they can't. And number two, like Brother Sean said, if they do, that's they ass. It's game over. That's they ass. No, it is deeper than that. They are trying to crack that genocode. And they have yet to be able to crack it. You know why? Because we change that motherfucking shit up on them every time. Every time them bitches think they got it. Oh yeah, you think you got it? Huh, how about that? They can't crack it. That's the God code running through your veins that you take for granted. You are the one. You are the hidden. It literally is all about you. All right. Yes.
They already estimated that the vaccines would kill off 600 to 700,000 people. Now, 9 times out of 10, those are people that they had controlled anyway, and people whose DNA has not upgraded because they're vibrating at a lower frequency.
Level. Right.
They're really not worried about them. They trying to figure out what bloodlines have already reached that plateau.
Exactly.
And those that are on their way there, because that vaccine will block your DNA upgrade and set you up to repeat another cycle.
Exactly.
That's their game plan, to keep us in this cycle so that they can continue to feed.
Yep.
Once we're gone, they have nothing to feed on.
Yep.
Thus, they disappear. They go poof. Which is going to happen either way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, let me change that. Some of us will be leaving, and the rest will be left here to continue going through this bullshit.
Right, in the third density, in 3D.
Yep, because y'all have the power to keep it going. And those of you who want that system and want that life and that 1,000 years of peace, you have the power to make it so.
Right.
That's the reality you choose to create.
Right.
If that's the reality that you want, leave the rest of us the fuck alone. Go build your reality. Quit trolling. Quit trying to trick people into paperwork and all that other bullshit that you're doing to have them repeat another cycle. Just leave us alone.
Right.
You can do you without bothering us, unless what you do is to us. But then we got a problem right there, because we ain't going for that fuck shit.
Nope.
The party over.
It is.
Complexion has nothing to do with it. It's over.
Yep.
You still clinging on to that shit. You gonna be here. You won't see us. We won't see you. And that's fine. In fact, I prefer it that way. Because y'all on some fuck shit. But I digress.
Indeed. Okay, so shit, I forgot what was the original motherfucking point. Oh, so the Rome stuff. So anyhow, it's basically the same folk who have gone around the planet as conquerors. And so those ancient Roman artifacts that the Conspiracy Are Us channel showed us are those same Romans. And that's why I keep stressing to the family what we are still witnessing today. This whole corporate system is still a Roman system. It's still the same shit. They really use the same script. They just modify the names a little motherfucking bit to keep the shit going, so folk can, as Brother Sean say, repeat another cycle. Okay, so we are going to get into it in another series to discuss those cycles and how it is being, the realms are being controlled through sound. All right, so we are going to get into that. So in another series. So before I get back into Miss Nancy Eisenberg's White Trash, I do want to share with you, because I couldn't find it last week, which pissed me off. But y'all don't know, sometimes my notes disappear. I had to reboot YouTube about 3 motherfucking times. It's always some associated dramatization. But anyhow, I wanted to share with you all Brother New Earth Productions, his YouTube channel, New Earth Productions. He had did a video on the Anunnaki and the Great Flood. So I do want to play this as well. So hopefully, as we keep bringing this stuff to you all, I'm bringing it to you for a purpose, to show you the patterns that keep happening over and over and over and over again. Now, even if you don't believe the Anunnaki stuff, if you don't believe any of that, you think it's bullshit, and I'm cool with that. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But I find it very, very interesting that that particular myth, if you want to call it a myth, follows the same pattern that we see today, which we are showing receipts of the same pattern with these resets. It's the same exact thing. The exact same thing. So, all right, so this one is called the Anunnaki and the Great Flood. Boom. This is from the YouTube channel with a brother off of New Earth Productions. Again, shout out to him. I know I play one of his videos every week, but goddammit, I like his stuff, bottom line. So thank you, brother New Earth Productions. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
I'm just beginning to think that Anunnaki and all of that stuff were nationalities that people went by at one time.
It very well could be.
They would just vibrate at a higher frequency, so they were able to do more than we're capable of doing
Absolutely, absolutely. And when we get into the next series, baby, let me tell you something. It just hit me one day. I was watching something and they showed it in my fucking face. And I said, oh shit. That's what they was talking about out of those ancient quote, quote, myths. It's the same science or metaphysics or technology. It's just shit that we forgot because we have fell low into a lower density, lower vibration. We forgot that stuff. But now that the realm is changing to a higher vibration, we're starting to make these connections. And the messed up part about it, this ancient technology is a hell of a lot simpler than this bullshit that they are spewing to us today. So I totally 1000% agree with you, Brother Sean. I think it was the Anunnaki was tied to an identity as well, a nationality, a group of people. I think a lot of nationalities spun out of the Anunnaki, and for them to be fictional, quote, quote, supposedly and allegedly, they show up in a lot of shit. The names, all of that. Enoch, Anak, Anunnaki, Enoch, Anak, Anunnaki. So, all right. So here we go. This is from New Earth Productions. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you always. And this is the Anunnaki and the Great Flood. Boom. All right.
Bang, bang. What up, fam? Source God. Yeah. Yo, fam. Talk about something called, like, the Robots Rebellion. All right? Some kind of like what basically led to the fall of the old world, the antediluvian world, the world before the flood, the mud flood and all that. The world of Tartaria, a lot of the giants and those mythical beings that we talk about and hear about all the times, right? All right, fam. Let's say the Anunnaki, right? For lack of a better term. Those beings that basically were the masters of this realm. Technologically, spiritually, physically, they were the supreme, in all ways, in all stature, everything. You see what I said? Excuse the AC too in the background. This mic picks up everything. Yeah, fam, the Anunnaki, they're like any other race of beings, right? You want resources and shit, stuff like that. And before, they got to a point in their civilization where they fucked up as well. And they fell for a while. But everything's cool now to a level, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, the Anunnaki, they were gathering resources like any other society does. But they were on such another level of like technology. Put it this way, fam. Where the Anunnaki were at back then was like a million years ahead of where you're even at now, yo. Like literally, it's just ridiculous. I mean, literally. I know you guys think you're the shit, but you're not. Like I said, you cannot recreate the shit that these guys built here, man. You can't. These supreme triple black Elohim niggas. You can't fuck with what they did. You can't. So, finally, the Anunnaki went about creating different, I guess, creatures, humanoid creatures, to operate in specific environments where they needed them to work to gather resources. Like, so if the Anunnaki found like a gold vein in the water, and like, there's a lot of gold and silver, shit like that in the water, all kinds of shit in the water, and instead of like making people put on suits, like other Anunnakis put on suits and go in and work in the water. Instead of doing that, they would create a biological, say, droid, a being that's flesh and everything, but it's something they create. Like I said, where your technology will be, if you're around, will be in another like 100 years or so. Well, fuck that, it's there now, but like openly in another 100 years, right? But they'll create like beings. They'll create like what you guys call a mermaid, and the mermaid were the beings that Anunnaki created to work, to do the mining in the oceans, right? And then they create like white people. They created to work in the mines, in the caves, digging in mines. That's why they would not give them melanin. They didn't have any use for giving them the melanin, because they were going to be working in the mines and living in the mouths of the caves. That's where the old caveman thing come from. Those were actually miners. Those cavemen, yeah, who lived in the mouth of the caves, mouth of the mines, sorry. Yeah, the black people, they created a certain set of black people, black humans. Because there were white Anunnaki and black Anunnaki. The white Anunnaki are Gigi. The black Anunnaki are the triple black Elohim niggas, like the bosses, right? And yeah, like they would create like the black people, the black humans. They created them to work like in the fields and shit, like in the garden, like old Adam and Eve shit. Yeah, that was like the first black people, like the Adama and the Eve and all that. That was a tribe of y'all made that created a batch to work in the gardens, outside in the sun, so you were given melanin. Okay? And yeah, there came a time, fam, where the Igigi, who were also workers, like, because you had Anunnaki, they deal with a caste system of class. That's why they reversed it here, where the Igigi rule here in your world, the tall whites, they reversed it. They make black the bottom to shit on the Anunnaki descendants. Yeah, for real. It's like revenge type shit. Because I told you, the Anunnaki did a lot of bullshit too. They weren't perfect, I'm telling you. You know what I mean? So the black Anunnaki had like the Igigis working the mines at first. And the Igigi rebelled. And we're like, fuck this, we're not doing this shit no more. Right? And that's when they started creating other races and the other beings. These bio-droid races that were flesh and blood, but just machines, same way. You know, like, not a brain, it's a battery, your heart, battery and all that type of shit, computer, battery, you know? Trust me, it's machinery. And, yeah, the fucking Igigis got together with, like, a lot of the human creations and basically overthrew the Anunnakis, the tall blacks, the triple black Elohims, overthrew them on a level. It was more like the Anunnaki were just like, fuck it, and just left. Like, you can have this shit. Seriously, they took all the resources they needed and was like, fuck it. But at the same time, they still run shit behind the scenes. It's kind of weird. They do. They run shit behind the scenes the same fucking way. But they've evolved. And they're doing what they can to set things right now. Yeah, because they helped create this bullshit. So Massa, plus, along with like, okay, you had like, remember you had like the hybrids? Because you had the black Anunnakis who after creating certain human races, their creations are beautiful. Like, humans are beautiful too, you know, a lot of beautiful human women and shit. You know, a lot of the Anunnaki niggas started having sex with the humans. So they had hybrid children. So a lot of the hybrid children are here operating, you know, and we're left in power in certain situations, certain positions. And then there's just a lot of hybrids walking around who don't even know they're fucking hybrids. And their blood, don't know their Anunnaki bloodline. They don't even know. But you should know. It's not that hard to tell, you know what I mean? But, yeah, it's just real life, family. It's like a lot of shit went down, man. Just like in any world, like just how you have your world here and all this shit goes on. It's always been like this. There was another civilization before. You see what I'm saying? And like the Tartaria thing, family, that was like us, like certain descendants, certain angelic descendants, doing our thing here. You see me? But at the same time, we also fell into some fuckery, man. Yeah, we started dabbling in shit and doing dumb shit. Yeah, man. So even after the Great Rebellion and certain things settled out, we picked up and did some more shit and we repeated ourselves, man. And we're doing it again now, shit. Except now it's actually you say the white droids, they're the ones running the experiment now. You know, it goes like in cycles. It's like fucking crazy. But they're the ones repeating the shit now. You know? But it's run its course though. You know, it's not gonna happen. It's done, dog. This whole shit's done. Everything's getting balanced out, all right? It's rough. It's a rough ride, but just hold on. You see me? Yeah, man. But anyway, my little I guess you could say rant is over. You know? Source got out. I hope you're feeling that though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But stay up. Source got out. Bang bang. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. So family.
So again, that was New Earth Productions YouTube channel, the Anunnaki and the Great Flood. Boom. So shout out to him for that information. It's interesting. This will be the last thing, and then we're going to jump back into White Trash, the 400-year Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
You know, he said that the EGGs are the white folks.
I know. I thought about you when he said that. I said, oh, shit, I got to play this. But sis.
I tell you, I said, I figured it out. They have such a distinct character. They always kill, steal, and destroy. And they always want to emulate others. So when you remember the movie Prometheus, never forget it. I didn't see it, but I saw the trailer. And he had to break down and recombine his RNA to DNA. So I said, what does that mean exactly?
You mean at the beginning, so folks can be clear, at the beginning, the albino-looking character that was standing up in the water, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And so he came from a ship that was Anunnaki. Symbols on it. So to me, that told me that he became the white humanoid when he recombined from his
now that's an interesting spin on it, sis.
Yeah. So because his DNA broke down, and when in the end they found the humans as like tadpoles, and then they say they turned into Darwinism theory. So that's what they were trying to, say, that species was from this Prometheus dude, or from the Anunnaki, and went on into being. Excuse me, my phone is dying out. Yeah, that's what it said to me. I said, they recombined his DNA to make the white race. That's what it was showing to me.
Right. Very, very interesting point. So, it goes back pretty far. If you believe the concept of the Anunnaki, I know some folks don't, and that's okay. I don't have no problem, no issue with that. But if you do kind of believe that concept, it makes a lot of sense on where we are today, number one. And then also, just the whole story of them coming to the planet because they messed up their own atmosphere. And they were mining for gold to try to repair their atmosphere. Now, And another ancient text, and damn, I can't think of the name of that one. It'll come to me. It talked about a galactic battle and how there used to be more planets in our particular solar system, and one of them blew up during this battle, and the one that was blew up along with Mother Earth taking a hit because she was twice her size, that created what we call today the astral belt. All right, so the battle was for those particular beings to come over into our solar system to excavate resources. Okay. And Brother Wendell and I covered all of this when we did the ancient story myths. We did it for a whole year. We went through multiple ancient texts and lined all of that shit up. All right. And we showed you how that all of the ancient texts talk about this great battle. One particular ancient text, I want to say it was the Lost Book of Enki, talked about how, you know, they had to gang up on Mother Earth to take her down because she was the prettiest and the baddest among those galaxies. And she told them, no, you can't come over here with the fuck shit, with the excavation, this, that, and the third. So the council of those other galaxies agreed, well, yeah, y'all gonna just have to take her down to get what we need. So hence the battle occurred. All right. Now, what I find interesting is when we look at the current landscape of Mother Earth, and if you look at it with your third eye versus looking at it from what the fuck they told you, you can truly see a battle has occurred. You can truly see the excavation, the massive amount of excavation that has taken place on Mother Earth. I was watching Nova yesterday, and they're doing a special on North America, the ancient landscape of North America. And they started last week showing the Grand Canyon. You can clearly, when you look at it with your third eye, you can clearly see where the Grand Canyon was one big ass excavation. You can see where those mountaintops are flat. Those were ancient trees.
Mm-hmm.
And even in this Nova special, the little Nova man was explaining going down the different layers in the canyon, and he was naming the time periods, millions of years. And at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, how they were saying was covered with water. But all you have to do, and I'm just gonna take the Grand Canyon just as an example. I'm just gonna take the Grand Canyon as an example. You can see the excavation lines. That shit is clean, clear cut with some type of machinery. And then he cut to modern day. Damn, y'all, I forgot where it was modern day when he showed a modern day excavation and showed how they were mining for this particular resource, as they always fucking do. And the same exact cuts that you see on the Grand Canyon is what you see in today's excavation. And I'm sitting there looking at this special like, wow, it's sad that this particular archaeologist, the Nova man, is so indoctrinated that he can't even see right what is the fuck before his eyes. It's showing him before his eyes what happened, quote, quote, millions of years ago. It's the same fucking shit they're doing today with the excavation. Okay?
That's it.
Yes, sir.
I also liken that to organ harvesting. Mama is a living, breathing being.
Indeed.
And they digging inside of her, taking stuff out.
Yep.
I mean,
Indeed.
it's the macro and the micro. I'd also heard that version where they got jealous of Mama because she created us.
Mm-hmm.
They told her she wasn't supposed to do that.
Who the fuck are they to tell somebody who to do what on her shit? That sounds familiar.
Exactly. and they got some karma they got to attend for too. I don't give a fuck what type of powers they may have. I don't give a fuck what they flying in.
Exactly.
Whether or not they able to bend time and space.
I don't give a fuck about none of that. Exactly.
Y'all motherfuckers still coming here looking for shit.
Yep.
And right now, a lot of you bitches sitting up begging for forgiveness.
Yep.
Nah. I don't want to hear it.
I personally don't either.
Because it's over.
It is.
The time to talk was a long time ago.
Yep.
Motherfuckers don't want to talk about real shit, real conversations, telling the truth. Then be quiet and be gone at the same time.
Exactly.
I digress.
Exactly. Very, very, very good point, Brother Sean. So, yeah. So, I just find it very, very interesting that folks want to look all over the physical evidence that's right the fuck in front of our faces. It's there. Earth was terraformed, excavated for the resources, and it's still happening today. It's the same energy. The concept of owning, it's the same fucking shit. Folk that don't know how to live in harmony with everything that's really provided for you. Folk gotta hoard and dish out what the fuck they feel should be dished out. It's unnatural. And all of these fucked up laws, Roman, Babylonian laws, stem from that. That's how deep it goes. Now, if you check out the Mudfluff community, specifically John Levy put out a video. I think he drops his videos on Sunday. And I think it was this Sunday that just passed. He put one out. And we're going to go into this in the next series. But if you search Google Earth and do the aerial views, you see where this shit is laid out like a fucking computer motherboard. You see it. So all of those crop, quote, quote, crop circles, and some people say from the aliens, this, that, and the other, sending signals, woo, 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 X, Y, Z. Let me tell you what the fuck they really are. Those are laid lines to control vibration. Because in order, when they took Mama down, they had to keep her down. And hence the original indigenous inhabitants of Mother Earth, keep them down too. They had to change the vibration. They had to bring it all the way down. So part of that excavation, of course, was for the resources with they motherfucking stinking asses. I don't know what was going on in their solar system. I don't know why they didn't messed it up so bad that they had to come somewhere else taking other folks' shit. Okay, so one, it was to excavate resources that did not belong to them. That sounds fucking familiar. But number two, in order to keep the hold on the planet and its people, they had to change the vibration. And hence, those ancient trees, that shit had to come down. So it changed not only the vibration, it changed the actual atmosphere itself. Then they laid out those grids, whether or not people want to call them crop circles. I call it a motherfucking computer motherboard to keep controlling the vibratory realm. And every time these quote, quote, resets happen, now this is just Rhonda's little 2 cents. It's just my 2 cents. It is their way, as the new particular age or realms is changing over, it is their way of tapping into these same motherboards, creating these resets. Because I believe they are doing these resets with these catastrophes through sound. All you have to do, I'm not making this shit up, go on YouTube and they will show you experiments where just by a certain vibratory tone, you can create a mud flood. Okay, they tap into those ley lines and set that shit off. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit more deeper into that and to when we do the next series to show you all not only what's happening today, but what is going to happen in the future and what it means for you. So you, as a divine ancient being, now this is in the time of knowing, like Brother Sean keeps saying. So all of this fuckery, this arguing and this bickering and trying to tell people who they are, what they are, blah, 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 blah. You need to do this, you need to do that. In the grand scheme of things, that shit don't mean shit. We are talking about your soul consciousness. That is what we're talking about. You stepping into knowing thyself. Connecting with the higher realms to know. To get shit done that you need to be getting done. Because the age that we are currently entering, all of that shit is done away with. I told y'all you're at a crossroad. You get to make the decision. Do you want to go on and do you in the higher realms? Or do you want to repeat another cycle in a third density, which they probably is going to be in the fourth density, but that shit ain't no better either. That's where the demiurges kick it and play on folk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that was part of it.
Absolutely.
You know, to get people to give their energy to something other than themselves and
Absolutely.
mother.
Absolutely.
Because all that mama do for us, when she was wounded, unconscious, what the fuck did we do? Fail, fail, fail,
Fail, yeah.
fail, fail, fail. Because we start believing instead of knowing.
Instead of knowing. Exactly.
And to an extent, you can say that mama has been ignored.
Totally ignored.
And when you ignore your mama when she's saying something to you, and you get slapped into the next room, which is what's happening to motherfuckers now, they get slapped all the way into the next goddamn room.
Right.
For not listening.
Exactly.
If all of them had to jump mama, you know she must be powerful.
Yep. They all had to gang up on her. Yep. Quote, quote, because she wouldn't share.
Yeah. And for those of you who are her children, aren't you ashamed of yourself? We can't keep pointing fingers.
Absolutely.
We still have a whole lot of self-accountability.
That's right.
Breaking that bloodline curse.
That's right.
You have to break that curse with mama, too.
That's right.
Especially with mama, or your bloodline won't be here no more. We have to stay the course. If you're here, 9 times out of 10, you're about you.
Right.
You're about your mission. You're about that purpose. You're about mama. As you see, with any and everything, you don't need the masses to make shit happen.
That's right.
The masses will come along once they see shit looking good, once they see it's something in it for them. But then they still don't realize they still going to have to put in that work for self.
That's right.
Knowing who you are is just the first step. That's like getting out of preschool. Some of y'all just not going to kindergarten. So you ain't there yet because you haven't mastered you. It ain't about knowing what's in these books and this, that, or the other.
Yep.
It's mastering self. You being in control of self. Not letting everything that someone else say or do take you from being you.
That's right.
To remove you from that higher frequency, to cause you to fall again. There are soulless things here. And they don't give a fuck about your higher frequencies. All they give a fuck about is what they want to do.
That's right.
And the only way they have power to do that is when you give it to them. I digress.
Indeed, indeed. Very well said, Brother Sean. All right, family. I'm sorry, YouTube chat, I haven't been engaging tonight. I've been with the videos. I apologize. All right, fam. We're going to get back into White Trash, the 400-year Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. So let's be clear. I purposely picked this series. Number one, this particular series derived from Brother 832, kept talking about this particular book. But it was coming off of the Black Nobility series. Now, my reasons for doing this is so we can be crystal clear on what happened so you don't repeat it. And I am specifically speaking to melanated people. These are the reasons I'm doing these series. So you can be crystal clear on what happened, so you won't repeat the cycle, because it is a cycle. It's the same script used over and over and over again. You have to wake up out of that spell, out of that nightmare, and take control of your vessel. That's the point where we are at. You are supposed to totally be elevating past this 3D density shit and all of the things associated with it. The whole Babylonian, Roman concept, you're supposed to be over that shit. How many thousands of years, how many cycles do you have to repeat that shit, thinking it's gonna be better, thinking you gonna be on top of an unnatural system? Melanated folk, we have a lot of his story tied to us.
It says,
Go ahead.
don't the Bible even speak of a new earth?
Yeah, it does. And you know, I ain't up in the Bible like that. I'll be the first to say, y'all, don't be depending on me to know shit from a specific verse perspective, but from my understanding, yes, it does.
My point for bringing that up is Mama's always in the picture.
That's what I say.
I digress.
Indeed. And Roland says, I'm so over the shit, sis. Absolutely. If you were directing that to what I just said, I'm with you. We're done with this shit. Truly, we are. We're just putting it out here to put it in the ethers for folk to get on their shit and get going. Because as Dr. Dilbert Blair said, before he transitioned in the last couple of years, he said you're going to be going from kindergarten to graduate school pretty quickly. Now, he said that shit 5-6 motherfucking years ago. So meaning, in other words, you're supposed to be stepping into the knowing and stepping into it relatively quickly. Okay? So again, we're putting these series out here, the Black Nobility series, this particular series on the Pilgrims and what happened up in the Americas, to jolt people out of these spells, to jolt people out of this colorism, because it's deeper than some color. And I ain't trying to give nobody a pass. I ain't trying to give white folk no pass. I ain't trying to give melanated folk no pass. This ain't about a blame. This ain't about a hate. This ain't about putting down one religion, the other religion. This is about fucking truth. Truth is the highest vibration. Truth don't give a fuck about your religion, your paperwork, your race, none of that. It stands on its own. And if you truly want to free yourself and go to the higher realms, you have to embrace truth. All right? And these theories are proving who was running shit. So just the sheer fact of folk thinking that all melanated people was kumbaya, my lord, is bullshit within itself. Because the whole planet was melanated and ran by melanated. Even Franklin said that. Go back to the Greeks, melanated. Sparta, them 300s, that motherfucking movie they made. All you dudes that love that movie, I couldn't get through it, y'all. It was too much slicing and shit for me. I just couldn't get through it. But anyhow, that 300 movie, God damn it, that was melanated people. The Spartans were melanated. Go check out Medicine Man's YouTube video. He lays it out clear as day with the motherfucking receipts. So Greece was melanated. Rome was melanated. Europe was melanated. Americas was melanated. African, melanated, but also part who we're calling Caucasians today. So it is important for you as an individual to know who your bloodline is. So you can start making these connections. All right? Now, white folk, Hispanic folk, Native American folk, Asian folks. Asia was melanated also, by the way. It's also your responsibility to know who you are. And particularly Caucasian people and Native Americans, you better do a check with yourself, because you have taken on titles and heritage that does not belong to you. And just like I told the melanated people, you associate yourself with those titles and that heritage, you inherit the associated karmatic debt. So get your shit together, or not. That's on you. That is strictly on you. And I find it extremely interesting that it keeps being brought up that those that are calling themselves, and I'm gonna have to code this because I don't feel like the fuckery with YouTube, starts with a J, ends with a W. I call them the fake chosen ones. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. Be the main one want to jump up and scream up and down about somebody supposedly and motherfucking allegedly talking about them. And bitch, that ain't even your identity. But keep on fucking around. That's on you. Because there's karmatic debt with that too. And that also goes for melanated people that's trying to claim that particular heritage. And those that are that indigenous inherited, that heritage, you're supposed to be cleaning up. That even means the melanated Europeans. You are supposed to be cleaning up. The melanated indigenous Americans, you are supposed to be cleaning up. The ones labeled themselves as Moors You are supposed to be cleaning it up. So keep on fucking around, kidding yourself, wanting to play these games. Repeat another cycle. That's on you. But these demiurges, they got something for your ass. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
They looking for reparations too.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
And the Geneva Convention doesn't say anything about reparations. It says it's about repatriation.
Right.
That we're supposed to be repatriated.
Right.
And that prisoners of war are supposed to be set free at the end of hostile activities.
Right.
But obviously, we're not at the end of hostile activities.
Obviously.
We're still at war.
Exactly.
So as long as we're still at war, they don't have to acknowledge who we are. But according to the Geneva Convention, we're still supposed to be treated a certain way.
Right.
And they're not sticking to that either.
No.
Not one treaty or convention or whatever they done came up with, they've never honored any of it.
They don't.
So why people would think that this so-called New Deal that's coming into effect is going to benefit them?
Right.
You just fell for a new game.
Exactly.
The same game with a new name.
With a new name.
New box. That's it. But it's the same game. How can somebody be equal with you in your house?
Exactly.
So, I mean, if we don't be off into that where anybody that come into your house is to be treated equally and given this, that, or the other, I'm about to start a goddamn road trip and knocking on doors. And I mean, if motherfuckers that goddamn friendly and just ready to give goddamn thing away.
Right.
Yeah, I got some places I want to go, some things I want to see and want to be comfortable going.
True that indeed.
So, when I come knock on your door, treat me like you do the colonizers. Treat me like you do the illegal immigrants. Let them come in, let them come in. Feed them, give them this, give them that, give them everything. I want that same damn treatment. Give me every goddamn thing. Your energy, your prayers, give me all that shit.
Right.
I mean, I'm your brother, right?
Right.
We the same color.
Right.
Us is black folk.
Right.
But I say I'm white if you go treat me better. I say I'm an immigrant if you go treat me better. They say you have the right to change your nationality. I say I'm whatever nationality to travel around the world at your expense. I'm not tricking you into doing it. I'm asking you. I mean, equal, right? We're all equal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all give them that kind of love and everything and want them to be equal.
Right.
But then we hate on each other. Mm-hmm. You want everybody to be equal but us. But there is no such thing as equal in this situation.
Right.
Do you want a parasite to have the same rights in your body as your organs?
Exactly.
Well, that's what mama is going through. She got a bunch of parasites on her, and her goddamn children is talking about treat them right. Give them equal rights. You motherfuckers getting kicked out the house.
That's what I'm saying. Hit the bricks.
I digress.
Yeah, when you just said that last part, it reminded me of a sketch by Richard Pryor. He said he was doing Mudbone, the character Mudbone, the old melanated man that sat and talked shit. I think Mudbone was even a wino. So he was saying that this woman came to him saying, Mudbone, my child disrespected me. So Mudbone said, that's your motherfucking fault. You put his ass out and he get the miss meal cramps. And he come back to you saying, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. What you want me to do, ma'am? It kind of reminded me of that sketch rather, based on what you just said. And absolutely, I've said that plenty of times that folks don't deserve to even have a home. They don't fucking deserve it. They so disrespectful.
You know, I want to put my little 2 cents in there.
Absolutely, sis.
It's so bad that they want to give it away. They even keep putting and voting folks in there that's gonna give it away. I can't even understand why people do that. They feel they want to run to Ghana. They want to go back to Africa.
I say go on. Shit, and in they motherfucking defense, sis, not to cut you off, get the fuck on.
They don't even have any relatives there. They're not going to get any land. They're not going to get any money.
I don't care. Miss meal cramps.
I mean,
they'll come back. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Miss meal cramps. Let they monk asses go over there.
Everybody and their mama want to come to the America. I mean, you have to understand. There's something here they want, and we're ready to give it away. Well, it doesn't make sense, like Brother Sean said. It doesn't make sense. My son and I always like, what in the world's wrong with these people? You know, and the person trying to block them from coming is the one they hate. You know, and I'm like, are you serious? Just wake up and smell the coffee. And they go out there and they march for this stuff. They almost fight the police over rights of others, and you don't have any rights yourself. You know, it's like, ugh. They must have these frequencies who blocks brain waves too. Not only your future and who you were, your past and who you are, but they block your thought patterns. You don't even think right anymore. Our people were so low on the totem pole in thinking when we were so brilliant and we controlled everything. But yet we get these people now, they don't know nothing. Not a darn thing. Not even who they are, but how to think.
Right. Common damn sense, like Big Mama done said. You know? Yeah. And it is, sis, a block of frequencies, as well as I talked about that computer motherboard, all right, pulsing that sound vibration to block frequencies, but we're in the age that you can still rise above all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to that individual to do it. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
A virus is a living thing, right? A live virus.
Yes.
Living being, some type of entity. Look at how people are about COVID. But you give other parasites equal rights. The whole goddamn planet just about scared of this COVID shit,
Right.
which ain't shit. But you welcome every other form of death and parasite
Yep.
that they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same old, same old.
Right.
This ain't the first time we've had a terrorist attack with viruses or bacteria.
Right.
And you go back to the whole blanket thing with the Indians. We can go back to King James' Book of Demonology when they said that they were sending sick people over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's the same thing being played out.
It's the same script. Absolutely.
And we keep falling for it.
Exactly.
But this is the time for all that to end.
Right.
What we didn't do back then has nothing to do with now.
Absolutely.
We can't keep using excuses from the past. Just like we can't give our ancestors all the credit, we can't give them all the blame.
That is correct.
Because we're still playing the game.
That's right.
And we're in an age where we got more information than what they had.
Yep.
And we prefer to be entertained. We prefer to give our energy away to anything and everything but self.
Right.
And mama.
Right.
We give our energy away to invisible beings. You know, some people will sit up and try and say that your ancestors are ghosts and this, that, and that. No, the fuck they ain't. They're in my DNA.
That is correct.
But people want to call on things they know nothing about.
Yep.
You have power, and you're calling on to things without full control or mastery of your power.
Right.
And you don't think these demiurges know that?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be calling on them if you were in control of your power.
Indeed.
So by your very actions, your very prayers, your very meditations to them, your rituals to them, already let them know they ain't even got to fucking worry about you.
Yep.
That's why they give you a few things, give you a few privileges, this, that, or the other. Because you already under control.
Yep.
I just want you to sit your little bitch ass down and shut up is what they telling you. Here goes some crumbs. Go sit the fuck down and shut up.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's what they do. And then you try and trick other people into doing that same fuck shit.
Yep.
Cutting new deals. I'm telling y'all, if y'all fucking around with anybody that's talking 501c4 or any goddamn thing to do with this fucking corporation and trying to get you to sign up something, when you put your signature on that shit, you're giving away all your rights.
Yep.
You're giving away your soul for another cycle.
Yep.
Because you wanted somebody else to lead you. You wanted somebody else to show you the way.
Yep.
Your path and somebody else's ain't the same.
That is
Period.
correct.
Y'all experiences ain't the same. The bloodline curse that you carry ain't the same. So to think that your path lies with an individual outside of you is fuckery.
Tell it, brother.
Be you. Lead and master you. It's the only thing you're supposed to be doing. You ain't supposed to be trying to trick nobody into shit. If we're supposed to be a loving people, even you religious folks, because you're supposed to love everybody, even your enemy. But y'all seem to have a problem with us who acknowledge and love Mama because we ain't acknowledging some mysterious sky daddy.
Yep.
Now, as everybody knows, that sky daddy had his son, who's supposed to be him, get here through what? That divine womb, wasn't it? Now, I mean, if he was so powerful, why did he send one of his angels to impregnate this little girl?
Right.
And then claim the son for his?
Right.
I mean, if I'm that God, if I got the power that God or that book got, I would just manifest myself.
That's what you would think.
And he know everything. He know everything that we gonna do this, that, or the other. Yet get mad at us for doing what he knew we was gonna do.
Right.
And then send you to hell for all eternity.
Right.
Because he loves you. And you're not supposed to question anything. Complete obedience. Even though in that same book, that same God tell you to know thyself. Now I understand it may be hard to do everything in that book because it's a book of contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
To even try to do all of those things, you on a lower frequency because you're not focused on you.
On self.
You're doing everything else. And the whole time, don't forget to pray to him and acknowledge him as the Son. You got to ask for everything from your Father, from his Son, who's supposed to be your brother. I ain't never asked my brother to ask my daddy something. But they got the whole planet doing that punk shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it ain't through the Son, it's Allah. If it ain't
or Muhammad,
Allah, oh yeah, it's Muhammad. If it
Buddha,
ain't
Confucius.
Exactly. Or oh no, Jesus ain't the right name.
Yeshua.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All these names that you have to remember. It's all basically talking about energy.
Exactly.
Energy that is within you.
Within you.
I digress.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I finally see you, 713. I'm sorry, sweet pea. You didn't move up in the queue. So I'm gonna get you, and then I see brother 832. So I'm gonna get to both of you. I want to get this thought out before my old ass forget. So brother Sean got me on that it just tickles me. What melanated people are truly, truly missing And I just have to keep it real. If you want to look at all of the melanated people across the planet Mother Earth, we ain't never fucking got along. Let's be clear. We ain't never got along. Because you have energies that have usurped on the planet that took up the skin suit as melanated, came and started conquering people, giving them an identity, giving them a doctrine, and then start going around the planet fucking with other people. So that's why it is extremely important for, number one, you look at the truth for what it is. Melanated on melanated been happening quite a long motherfucking time. You will really start to hopefully understand some of the same battles that we still have today. And folk don't want to believe it, but it's true. This shit go back to bloodlines. The very warring that may be going on in the Americas is because of the mixed bloodlines, and we ain't never rocked with fucking each other like that. So that's why it's important for you to research your genealogy, to know who you are, to correct it.
That's why it was so.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
That's why it was so easy for them to get tribes to turn on each other. You already had all these confederacies and this, that, and the other tribes that it grouped together and went up under one name and was warring with each other.
Sure was.
And then they saw these colonizers as a way to get revenge or whatever. Exactly. Yeah, I'll help you get them motherfuckers. I don't like that nigga anyway.
Exactly.
Fuck that nigga.
You took the words out of my motherfucking mouth. I ain't never liked that motherfucker stinking ass. Exactly.
And then they got played.
Exactly. So that's all.
The same thing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Same thing that's going on now.
Exactly.
You still got niggas hating on each other, no matter what is going on with the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like some people say, they trying to kill us all off, this, that, or the other. But that same person to turn around and shoot a nigga.
Sure will.
But you talking about they trying to kill us all off.
Exactly.
They don't have to. We doing a damn good job ourselves.
They don't have to do it.
Right. Thing is, we just happen to be on some land doing this shit, and they want the land.
Exactly. That's all. You're absolutely right, Brother Sean. We can look at across any metropolitan melanated city every motherfucking weekend in the motherfucking summer. Melanated on melanated jumps off. But folk want to be motherfucking silent about that. And then when it's brought up, oh, well, we gonna work on that later. What about what they doing? Nigga, I'm talking about you. And when you don't know self, when you don't know your heritage, you're not inner and understanding why these things are happening. And that you are supposed to be correcting them. Those mixture of bloodline ancestors run through you. You up to bat to correct it. So let me go through the lineages again to refresh folk motherfucking memory. Talking about melanated Europeans. Whether or not you tied to the black nobility or not, you supposed to be correcting up your shit. Talking about the ones that identify themselves as Moors. Whether or not you on the Islam side, whether or not you on the African side, whether or not you on the split heritage side of African and indigenous American, you supposed to be correcting up your shit too. Whether or not you're African, you supposed to be correcting up your shit too. Whether or not you indigenous, Asian, melanated, you supposed to be correcting up your shit too. Whether or not you're indigenous, American, Indian, melanated, you are supposed to be correcting your shit too. You up to bat now. Get on your shit. All right, let me go to 713. Sorry, sweet pea, I am so sorry. I just so happen to see you. And then brother 832, I'm gonna come to you. Hopefully this will open her up. Come on, system. Okay, peace and love, 713.
Peace and love to you all. How's everybody doing?
We're doing well, beloved. How are you?
I'm good. I have 3 points I want to make. I'm going to follow that up with a question, and then I have a request. I think I'm going to ask the request first of you, Rhonda. Well, it's not really a request. I guess it's a suggestion, because you always say we need to find out who we are, know thyself. And I just thought about this song that I like to listen to, and I'm going to request that, one day you play this, while you're, coming on or going off, how you play your different music. But I don't know if you've ever heard of this song by the Isley Brothers. It's called Ernie's Jam.
Yes, definitely.
It's called Ernie's Jam. Ernie, like Ernie Isley, the Isley brother. Whenever you all get a chance, just listen to the words to it. I think that would be a really good song for us, because it's telling us what we need to do. So that's my request. But here are the 3 things that I wanted to mention. I guess this was a few months. And then a young rapper, female rapper, her name was Seven, and there was a other lady. But allegedly Dave said something. He talked about how in his younger days he was, had to go to court for some reason. And he said, after the judge gave him his ruling or his sentence, he was, there was a moment of silence. And he did not realize it. It took him, later on he realized that the judge was silent because he's giving you a chance to reply. And so put a pin in that thought. I was watching television, and they were, ever since the George Floyd and all this other madness, and they were talking about defunding the police. Well, it seems like they always find the black person to say, no, we don't want the police defunded, And I thought, we're allowing people to speak for us.
Yep.
And they put these things out there, and if those who, some people may want the police defunded, some may not. But those who have a different opinion never say anything. And, I'm looking at all the things that's going on, with the whole reset and everything. And my question is, that's not really my question yet, but are we being vocal enough? Now, the third point that I want to make is I'm not sure how many people are aware of this, but I want to say in 2013 or 2014, there were a group of Aborigines in Australia who decided they didn't want to be a part of the government anymore. So they marched to the Capitol with their birth certificates and their driver's license. And they turned them in and said, we don't want to be a part of this anymore. That, you know, there's a certain amount of land somewhere that they said, you give us this land and we're gonna go here and we're gonna do us and y'all do you and leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I said all of that because a couple of weeks ago, Sister Cheryl read a declaration, and that, you know, I thought about everything that's going on, and basically they're trying to smooth over everything. You know, their time is up.
Right.
And they're trying to smooth it over and kind of lull us back. And we're going to be your friend right now, and so that you can like us, so that you'll allow us to stay.
Right.
And my train of thought is, with Sister Cheryl, what is the plan with this letter? Or is she envisioning like a petition where those who want to be a part of, you know, who want to add their name on the bill? What is it? Is she putting it out there so that anybody who wants to use it can say, hey, I'm on board with this? That's my question. Because I think, you know, going back to that movie, The Watchmen, mm-hmm. You know, I tell a friend of mine, you know, we break that movie down, and I said, you know, if you remember in the movie, there was the guy who was like the warden, and when I can't remember the name, so when he shot that buffalo, the warden came and said, you know, you can't do this. And I think he did something else, took some fruit off a tree or something else he did, and the warden came and told him, you can't do. That's what we're supposed to be doing with Mother Earth. You can't kill a buffalo. You
right.
can't cut down our tree. Right. And so I guess my question is, when do we stand up and say, okay, no more? That's my question. So I'll let you. And really, I don't know if Sister Cheryl is on there, but I really would like to know, you know, she put that beautiful letter out and a declaration out, and it was like she was reading my mind, because I kept thinking, we need to say something. We have those who oppose, who don't want to stand for this, need to say, I'm not with this.
Right.
And so that's my question. And I know you said you two would talk or whatever. So that's my question, is what is the plan? What do you guys have, or have you said anything that you want to do with that declaration? Or that's my question. So.
All righty. Okay. Good deal. So I will not speak for Sis Cheryl on what her intentions are for the declaration. So you're not the first person to ask that question, and I refer them to her. So I will see if next week, if she wants to come back on to speak on that. Now, as far as the Isley Brothers song, you said Ernie's song, I'll try to dig it up.
Ernie's Jam, yeah.
Ernie's
just
Jam.
Pull it up and listen to it.
Yeah, I'll try to play it.
Love it.
Okay, I'm going to try to rock out tonight with it if I can find it real quick on YouTube.
Yeah, you'll find it on YouTube.
Yeah, and as far as what we can do in general, and this may be hard for you to hear, it may not be hard for you to hear. If folks are waiting on a collective revolution, you'll be waiting.
Okay.
You have to do what you feel best within yourself and your family. That's why I've been kind of putting it out there that it starts with self, it starts with your family. And you can bring things down just by stop participating as much as you can in their falsified system and just proclaiming who you are. Now, just for me personally, I don't want to get on a rah-rah of, yeah, let's get together, let's form this group, let's do this, let's do that. And plus, I'm doing it all out in the public. I'm just giving them my playbook.
Right, yeah.
To say every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, jump on Truth Uncompromised to get the playbook of what the indigenous folks are going to do. No, I'm not going down that road. We done been there, done that. So that's why I personally will not publicly come out and say, we're going to start this group, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because it ain't nobody's business what family do. Right. Okay, now that's just my take on it. But as far as Sis Cheryl in the declaration, I'll definitely invite her on so she can tell you all out of her own words what her intentions are. But that's my stance on the matter. I am not looking to form any group publicly to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 agenda, because hence I have given them the playbook. Right. That's not the way I roll.
And I agree. I agree with everything that you're saying. I guess for me, my thing of it is, a lot of times silence means consent.
That I agree on.
We do things and we sit back and we say nothing, as we have been doing for so many hundreds of years now. And we just say nothing. Not that we need to go out and march or anything like that, but I just think that we need to say something.
So who is we, and what do you think needs to be said? I'm only doing that because I'm just trying to spark you. I'm doing this cleverly for a reason.
We would be anybody who doesn't agree, anybody who wants to see this establishment fall. Before the new, just like Brother Sean said, there's supposed to be a new earth that was written in the Bible. Well, I think before the new one comes, the old one has to be dismantled. The old government has to be dismantled. And so, I just feel like I have to let it be known that I am not in agreement with, I'm not trying, how can I put it? Whatever is mine is mine. I want it. I don't want you to have whatever is mine. And so, this whole reparations and no, you just give me what's mine, and you go on. This whole, don't try to lull me back into another cycle just because you need me.
Indeed.
You go wherever you need to go, and I'm staying here on my land. And we can.
Beloved.
Yeah.
You just put it out there.
Exactly.
You did it already. You let it be known.
Exactly.
That's a universal declaration. This is a public forum. It's in the universe. You already put it out there in the ethers.
Exactly.
And that was part of the purpose of the declaration. It put it out there universally for us all. And you just spoke up as being a part of it. So it's already done. It's a matter of the manifestation of things. If everybody do their part, we don't have to say nothing.
Okay.
Everything gonna come together like it's supposed to. Those that are on the same frequency, whether high or low, that's who gonna be together.
Right.
You already done it. You have nothing to worry about, sis. You just put it out there. You spoke up. You're not silent.
Exactly.
There's a permanent record of you speaking out.
Oh, okay.
And when you submit paperwork, that's all you're doing is making a record of it. But they the only ones who could see it.
Exactly.
Not the whole universe, mama.
Okay.
The brothers and sisters up there. Everybody know where you stand. Not where you fall. You just pronounced your stand.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
In the ethers. In the ethers, that is higher than someone speaking for you, that is higher than some group being formed and somebody speaking and we all agreeing. You did it just now for you and your bloodline.
Okay. Well, I sure appreciate you all having this forum where we can do that, because this is like a very powerful thing that you all are doing. And how I stumbled on it, I don't know, but I'm glad I did.
We're glad you did.
That's where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't stumble on it. It's purpose. It was supposed to happen.
That's
you didn't
right.
stumble on it. You were standing up, not stumbling and falling.
Mm-mm. Exactly.
You were getting back to your feet.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all, and keep up the good work. I'm not going to hold you because I'm pretty sure you have, other people that wanted to call in, but yeah, that was heavy on my mind, so I'm glad now I feel a whole lot more at ease. So I appreciate it.
See, you didn't need no group. You just, your soul wanted to get that in the ethers. Your soul wanted to put that in the records. You just did it.
Right.
I'm going to say this because I've been studying. You say we have to know who we are. And I learned, many years ago that our name has certain properties and characteristics, and we're to study our name. And one of the things that I saw in my studies is that I was supposed to declare something over the they use, I'm trying to think of the exact words, but it was like over the radio waves.
Interesting.
I did that. I just did that.
Ding, 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 ding. I knew you would get to the point where you needed to go. I knew you would get to that point. That's why I'm not here to form no group, none of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You free you. You freed your bloodline. Thank you, beloved.
Please, thank you all too. You guys keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. You too. And don't be afraid to come back and put something on it. If you got something else you want to declare and say doggone it that you ain't agreeing with, you need to set straight, You know where to find us, and you don't have to wait for us to do it.
Okay.
You do it in general, but you can certainly share it here as well.
Okay. Oh, and one other thing, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to hang up. Because you all were talking about the organ harvesting and things like that. I think, too, one of the main things that they're trying to do is steal our consciousness. They are trying to, Obama set aside, I can't remember how many billions, but there's this brain mapping thing that that they're pushing. And please don't let them map your brain. Please do not let them do a mapping of your brain, because that's a whole nother topic. But they are definitely trying to steal our consciousness and find out what we're thinking, and when they do that, they can read your thoughts.
Yeah, that's actually going into the next series also. That's a part of the whole resetting stuff. Oh yeah, they coming with the okie doke. So that next series is going to talk about the now and the future. But you're absolutely right. That is exactly a part of it. That's why I said this is about your soul consciousness. Absolutely, sis.
Okay, well, I'm not going to keep you all any longer. But you have a great rest of the week. Take care.
Thank you, sis. Peace and
I'm
love.
I'm going to hang up and just watch you on my television now.
Okay, sis. Peace and love.
All right. Peace and love.
Yes, sis T, the one who walks among the mist. Yes, sounds like Neuralink, which is linked to Elon Musk, my fucking stinking ass. So look up, y'all, Neuralink. We went over it before. Sis put me up on game on it. She sent me the little article and I read it on the air. It's Neuralink. Elon Musk is linked to it. All right. And also we talked about the Amazon series called Upload. Sis, you and I, Sis T, the one who walks among the mist, you and I both wind up watching that at the same time. Y'all check out Upload. It's all about consciousness, and the quote, quote, afterlife, all of that jazz. So, yes. So thank you, sis. 713. Child, you right where you need to be. You pretty much just gave folks insight into the future. So you right on the money, sis. No, Deep H2O, I'm not on television. She probably meant just pulling me up on YouTube via her TV set, streaming that way. Well, I guess I can say I am on TV, goddammit. Because that's what YouTube is now.
Yes, baby.
So, all right, let me go to 832. Sis, did you have something before I bring on brother 832?
No, I don't. I agree with her 100% because we have to stand, but we stand in our own homes.
Absolutely.
My family and I, we all agree that we're not going to bow to this stuff.
Absolutely.
But demonstrating and all that kind of stuff is futile because then they know what you're thinking, and
absolutely.
You can't create the environment that you need to have to create because you're taking the mob mentality.
Absolutely.
When you're out there
and
demonstrating.
you're giving them your playbook. You remember how Big Mom and your mom and them said, what goes on in this house, goddamn it, stays in this house.
That's right.
You would get your head clean knocked off if you went outside telling the family business.
Right.
That's why I learned my lesson after that fuckery with that hoodoo situation. I'm like, number one, fuck all of this. And number two, you ain't supposed to be airing out your every step anyway.
Right. Mhm. So yeah, I definitely agree with her, but I agree with you 100%. It only takes each person to change and create their lives. Each person is responsible.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, Purple Pill says, the future is certain. It is the past that keeps on changing.
Right.
That's interesting. I'm going to have to think on that a little bit, Purple.
Well, you know, they keep altering the past. You remember they do that time travel junk, and so where they call themselves controlling the past with
Mandela effect.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But you know that you can do that yourself?
Yeah, you can.
And I'm going to tell y'all how. When you go back in the past, it's with your thoughts. When you go back and think something, that's you time traveling. Now, I'm finna really get deep on y'all. You can literally, what we call go to sleep, which is really your consciousness going to these different realms. And those of you that quote, quote, astro travel, and you know that you're astro traveling when your dreams are in color and they are vivid and you can wake up and remember them. When you can use that to astro travel or time travel and go back to quote, quote, relive your past experiences. And I know some of y'all had to have experienced that. And you go back and you correct shit. Some folks go back and they relive the shit over and over again because maybe it's so traumatizing that their soul hasn't reconciled that the way it needs to. That's why you keep going back, reliving it when it's trauma, because your soul is trying to correct it. And then when you finally get that you have the power to correct it, you've just changed the past. You've just changed it. That's how powerful you are as a soul. You can go back in the past and change it.
Yeah, and you change it by letting it go.
Absolutely. And or if it's trauma and fear, you overcome that fear.
Right, and then let it go. You can
let it go. Exactly. And then you wake up like, damn, that's over with. Whether or not you had to fuck somebody up that had wronged you, that had traumatized you, that you had no control over, you go back in the past, you correct that shit, and you come up out of that shit stronger. Or whether or not you go back in the past, you had to talk to a loved one or whatever to get some shit straightened out. You can do that. So don't ever let any of these demiurges, these low motherfucking vibrational beings that have to use machinery to do what the fuck you do naturally. You can go to sleep right now on my monk ass and go back in the past, handle your motherfucking business, and wake the fuck back up, be in the now, go back to sleep, and go to the future and see what the fuck is up and coming. That's how powerful of a being you are. You just have forgotten it. And now you are reawakening to realize it. So all of them dreams and spookism shit that they tell you that's bullshit, that's really where the power is. That's really where the power is. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
That's the reason why psychiatrists have people sit up and relive moments. And
exactly.
You sit up and tell them all your secrets and your weaknesses.
Yep. Yep.
It's a form of self-psychiatry.
Absolutely.
You're dealing with your mind and your thoughts.
Absolutely. And as you get stronger with your particular consciousness, you're going to graduate from being fearful, because when you first start waking up, quote, quote, waking up into this knowledge, there's a lot of fear. And that fear is associated with the unknown, of course, and still being attached to them demiurges and the programming associated with being attached to those demiurges, that you can't make it without them. That's the whole religious realm. Not trying to hurt nobody's motherfucking feelings, but hey, it is what the fuck it is. So when you're waking up, you're in that fear stage. Then you start going back in the past, reliving traumas. And you're going to go through a lot of like battles. A lot of motherfucking running in your dreams, shooting, fighting, folks trying to stab you, this, that, and the third. That's your soul working out those traumas, working out past trauma and experiences that have blocked you from stepping into you as a powerful divine being, to elevate your consciousness, to move that kundalini energy up your spine to get to the Christ consciousness. So once you get through the fear, you fighting and shit, and then you get up the courage like, you know what, fuck all this, I'm finna fuck all you motherfuckers up. Then you gonna get into the fighting phase. So every time you motherfucking lay down, you in a motherfucking fight. Here comes some bitches and you got to fight. And women, true warriors, y'all gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. We chops motherfuckers' heads off. We use the sword. Sorry, fellas. Islam folks. Y'all think that sword is about masculine. It ain't. But anyhow. So you fighting. Tearing motherfuckers up. Then once you keep elevating your consciousness so that kundalini energy rising up, you're going to get beyond that point. Because you're going to get tired when you astro travel, and anybody that's astro travel, y'all all have astro travel. You just don't realize it. When you get tired of waking up out of the physical astro tired in a motherfucker because you really ain't slept, although the clock may say you slept 9-10 hours, but you wake up like you ain't went the fuck to sleep because you was on planes fighting motherfuckers, this, that, and the third, working out your soul consciousness, elevating yourself, correcting those past experiences. You like, all right, I'm done with that shit. All you demiurges can kiss my motherfucking ass. You ain't got shit on me. You ain't got no power. You not my God. I don't want shit from you. Get the fuck out my way. Once you get to that part and you realize that you're the one, that's when you hit the quote, quote, Christ consciousness. And that's where the demiurge is like, oh shit. Now we can't fuck with her or him. Can't touch them. They ain't on this bullshit no more. Yeah, absolutely correct. And actually, they are afraid of you. Because you become the creator and destroyer. You have now reached that Christ consciousness. So now you start to really not only see the future, you predict that shit with accuracy. Because you literally time travel through your consciousness and you see that shit. And then you also simultaneously, you create shit. So then when you come back to the now, you can clearly see the fuckery for what it is. That's when you get into the consciousness mindset. I don't give a damn about their system. I don't give a damn about their paperwork. This is all fuckery. It's all an illusion. I'm done with it. And then you make the decision to either share as much as you can with folks that are able to digest it, to put them up on game, to let them know this is what's getting ready to happen, y'all. So, all right, I know I took that journey. All right, 832. Here I go. But thank you, Sis 713. You are right where you need to be, beloved. All right, so let me go to 832. Hopefully, there we go. 832, your line is open.
Roger! Sandra! My sisters from other vistas!
Shut us up, brother.
Shut us up, brother.
United States of America down! Sean, my brother from another mother, sitting on Mount Olympus, throwing them black lightning bolts down tonight.
Indeed, bro.
My sister 713, which is my neighbor here in H-Town. I don't know if you saw or perceived it, but let me throw this word out. Akashic record.
That's what I was trying to think of. Brother 832, yes.
He placed Akashic record into the cosmos. Now, another tidbit is transcendence. Johnny Depp, if you remember that he downloaded his consciousness into a computer complex. It was a variation of the Matrix, but in a more sinister fashion, where he then took over the system through his mind being transported into the platform. And that's Transcendence. I don't know if you ever saw Transcendence.
I've never seen it. I have to check it out.
We've talked about altered carbon, which I'm about ready to go to round 3 on that. When they take your mind as sister who walks through the mist, because the mist could be considered a cloud, and the cloud is supposedly heaven, and heaven is at the top of the crown. I know I'm wandering a bit here. And, in those 7 layers, those 7 levels, from the root, your root chakra to your crown chakra, they would take the human being and put it in what they call a stack. And the physical body was called a sleeve. So the stack would move into a sleeve, into a sleeve, into another sleeve. Now, some of these weird, bizarre conspiracy theorists are talking about these clones. There's some fool that's going out there saying that every president since Jimmy Carter has been cloned. But that's neither here nor there. Actually, I was in a similar mindset with her. Not so much in asking what is Cheryl's intentions, because I think it behooves us to maybe stop thinking in those fashions. I appreciate, I said that the same week, right after she did that, about her putting in the ether, making a formal statement. But the American Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples is expecting each individual sovereign, because the sovereign is the person born to a woman, the original indigenous woman. And Sean has said this, that written into that document, the defiling of indigenous women, the raping and pillaging of our communities and our communal existence, the pedophilia and the child molestation of indigenous children is a traitorous act. Now, it's not treasonous or traitorous maybe in the way we think politically, talking about nation states, countries, and all these things. It is traitorous to Mother Earth, literally. So
Indeed.
what she was encouraging and what my good sister from 713 has done tonight, and I would like to expound on it, I was hoping we would kind of conversate on this, on what is that we hope to achieve, not what is we're asking us to do. And you were responding to her, too, about this group dynamic. You know, okay, so then what group, what clan, what clique, what religious sect affiliation, what political party? That's what, that type of nonsense, that unending, I don't even know if it's a dialogue, because people are then forcing you to make this binary thing. It's either Democrat or Republican.
Right.
It's either white or black.
Yep.
It's either male or female, you know. When that causes like a two-dimensional, it's not even three-dimensional. You don't even provide a range of choice when you force people into a binary. Now, you know, or I'm sure you're aware of what they refer to as the Hegelian dialectic. The Hegelian dialectic that is provided by people who come from a German origin, by the way. Many of these, like Nietzsche, Sigmund Freud, right? What's the other one? Carl Jung. Mm-hmm. When you were talking about the psychiatry, Sean, you know, much of this thought process is of a German origin, right?
Right.
And it is forcing people to take alternatives that are described as choices but are not.
Right.
Because both are controlled by the setup.
That's right.
Okay, so now when you say Dr. Nancy Eisenberg, and I know how you tiptoed around, but I'm going to say it this way. First of all, I presume that's a married name. And the first thought that comes to your mind is you think you're talking about a Khazarian Ashkenazi.
Yep.
Okay, but that ain't nowhere in the so-called Bible. The Hebrew Israelites are not Israelis. You know, there is no geographic location called Israel. I mean, some call it Palestine, some call it Canaan. But right. Nowhere in the Bible is there a place called Israel.
Right.
But see, we have been led to believe the conception of what is existing today, which by definition, using that same Torah, Talmud, Babylonian Talmud, or what we call the Old Testament or the Holy Bible, that does not exist. And by the way, in their nation, they call nation, their orthodoxy, they say that amongst themselves. The existence of the nation of Israel is not biblical and not put there by God. But they will stay there because it politically accommodates them having some place to stay.
Exactly. Benefiting.
But if you ain't got no home, and you ain't from nowhere, you know, I remember that old, decrepit, Helen, I forgot her last name, the the famous journalist who was like over 90-some years over at the White House.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
old.
Yeah. Helen, I forget her name too, but I see her face. Yeah.
Just before she walked off the stage or went off into the sunset, as they love saying in cowboy movies, she said Israel should not exist.
Yep.
And
Shocked
they made
the shit out of me.
back where they came from.
Yep.
Now, she said that. Now, of course, some would write it off that she was a haggard, ancient, 90-something,
Right.
Alzheimer's or dementia-affected individual. However, be that as it may, you see Nick Cannon is being taken to the woodshed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what Sister 713 was asking was, what is Cheryl asking us to do? And she's not. Now, again, this is just my two.
Right. Right.
But declaring the statement, each of us individually have to declare, as she did in her own way. She said something that I know she didn't mean it, but she said, give me mine. They can't give you nothing, sweetheart, because they ain't got nothing to give, first. Second, you can't give me what's mine by birth.
Right.
Third, you can only stop stealing my inheritance. That's what the Declaration was about, Sister 713. What all Cheryl did was, and Shauna said this repeatedly, even the Declaration of the United Nations and the American Declaration of Rights for Indigenous People is only stating the criminal activity of these outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
That is all it is. Everything that she laid out and what she declared was what they have done.
Right.
What are we doing? Not what we have done. Because what we have done actually in 2020 is zero. What our ancestors have done, or better yet, to be more accurate, what they have endured is what is declared. Now, if they had not endured, we wouldn't be here whining and complaining about woe is us. And it's a horrible thing. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, knee on the neck till extermination. That's some terrible shit. But what was he doing other than existing and being black, sitting in a Mercedes Benz on a street curb? What was he doing? We still, Sean, where's the counterfeit $20 bill, allegedly? They haven't even, you would have seen it, You know how you go in some of these bodegas and these convenience stores and whatnot? They'll have the bill posted if it's counterfeit.
They
right?
sure do, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it's me. Why haven't we seen one? That is allegedly the reason the police were called.
Right.
And the shopkeeper never said George Floyd was the one who passed it.
Right.
So when we are, I guess, I'm floundering a bit here tonight because I'm saying I want to answer my sister. I really do. I can hear the confusion in her question, in her inquiry. But I prefer to put it this way. What are we trying to achieve? My sister 713, you said you want to live unmolested peacefully in your humble abode on your patch of dirt that is yours. Now, when I have these, political discourse or confusing conversations with my brothers who I respect the nation, NOI, Farrakhan. I respect Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali, and the ones who call themselves the Moors, etc. What I ask them, and I'm going to continue to say this, is you can't tell me you have any more claim here than those Europeans can.
That's right.
You can't tell me, which is what she declared 2 weeks ago in her declaration. The Native American, Mongoloid Assyrian Caucasoid hybrid. You can't declare this is where you are from.
That's right.
And if you cannot do that, there ain't a damn thing you can tell me to do or not to do.
That's right.
But the only thing you can do is not molest me.
Yep.
What did you say, Sean? And I'll put it this way, because I said it to a friend. They were upset with me for saying it. Are you going to let a termite infestation run you out of your house, Sean? Or are you going to put a tent on it and call it exterminated? And when the air is clear and it's been vacated, you move in your house.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you let vermin and termites and infestation run you out of your house?
No, not at all.
Now, we are sitting here, and you said this too, Rhonda, all of these, whether you call them melanated cities or chocolate cities, we used to talk about D.C., dark chocolate, dark city, etc., all this good stuff. Who's primarily homeless on the street, on the street curb? And most people walk over and buy those people do not know more than half of those homeless, mostly men, are veterans.
Yep.
Did you know that?
Yep.
Did you know as we speak, a veteran, 22 commit suicide a day in the United States of America. Now, that doesn't compel white America whatsoever, but white America loves it. You know what, Sean? You know what we need to do in some fashion? Make patriot as much a pejorative as nigger when it comes out of their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Because until this is what I'm saying to you, my sister 713, and making clarity to what you inquired tonight. Until we declare this is mine, this is mine, indisputably. Anyone else here is foreign, period.
That's right.
Period. That's not, I'm not expressing hate. I know how they want to flip what I do because I am declaring what is mine. Mm-hmm. I don't want your, just like the sister said, she said, hey, I'm not asking you to want what I have or who I am or what I'm about.
That's right.
But I would appreciate you stop lying about it and culturally appropriating it and trying to turn around and flip it, package, rub it down, and sell it back to me and to the world.
Right.
Hip-hop, rap, in case you didn't know what I'm talking about. Jazz, R&B, gospel, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. You know, these things that have been commercialized, that have been stolen by these foreign invaders from us, originated by us, and we do not benefit. That is what she declared, my sister 713. That's what Cheryl declared. To what extent do we benefit? I ain't talking about these dead presidents and this fake fiat. And if you notice, whenever we have these discussions, if you start focusing on these things, it is always in proximity and in comparison to how much dead presidents and fake fiat they have.
Right.
And they always have more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the intent for them to always say and show they have more? Because the value of this fake currency says that they are elevated white privileged status compared to a black inferior status that is less worthy and less valuable, right? So for those who are unclear and understanding what is the insidiousness of white supremacy, for whiteness to exist, the first requirement for whiteness to exist is blackness. And what is the requirement of blackness? To be inferior to whiteness superiority, which does not exist. If we are, and I don't like that word either, Sean, like you said, because there ain't no such thing as I hold up 5 fingers on my left hand, and I hold up 5 fingers on my right hand. They are equal in number, right? But your left hand is never your right hand, is it?
Not at all.
I have 5 women, I have 5 men. They are equally, numerically, they are equal, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I both know I'm never going to bear another human being. And it ain't going to come out of my stomach, my anus, or my mouth.
Good.
So when, the insidious nature of this duplicitous thing we have with these people, which is fraudulent, It is literally based on nothing. It's the white supremacy theory, and that's what it is, the theory. It's no different than the theory of evolution. Where is there facts about the evolution of the human being from an ape-like creature? Except if you shave an ape, it looks just as pale as an albion or an albino.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're talking about a shaved ape and an albino, I don't know. Then maybe there is some evolutionary process there. But I don't know about you, sister or brother. I'm not an albino. You feel me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But the theory of evolution is taught in every public school system, in indoctrination, under compulsory education, and Woodrow Wilson, as Jane Calloway explains to us, throughout all 50 states of this land, right?
Yep.
Based on what? A theory.
Mm-hmm.
Stress the word theory. Now, the fact we see every day, we give birth to all. Every one of us know a family that got some pale-looking folk, colorism, straight hair, aquiline nose, wide lips, thick lips, flared nose, Africoid features that we've been taught these terms. Can be all in one family, can it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What can be all in their one family? One pale, milky, thin-lipped, looking deficient, I mean, what spectrum do that? Again, I'm not saying it's cast aspersion or seemingly to be hateful. I am trying to be factual. Because as what she was saying, and as Sister Cheryl declared, the only thing, because I was listening to a Don Lemon interview with the minister, I did not know how sick he was, and not to go too, negative, if you will, or terrible in description. I did not know that he had, in his prostate cancer condition, he said that over 200 irradiated seeds were put in his body for treatment.
Who's
that? Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, who called and was taught by Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad that the white man is the devil, blue-eyed, blonde, demon.
Right.
He allowed them to put irradiated seeds in him. Do you know it affected him so bad that urethra and his colon was deteriorated? Now, this is words that came out of his mouth in this interview that I'd never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
That he had urine come out of his anal cavity.
Oh, gosh.
Now, first of all, he admitted and acknowledged it in public and talked about how sick and ill he was. But he still put himself in whose hands? For his life and his survival in whose hands? And it even caused him to have an ulcer in his anal cavity and was still being aggravated, irritated, and worsened by urine going out the wrong excrement cavity. So, as he said, out of his own words, stuff that should have been coming out of his colon was coming out of his penis. Stuff that should have been coming out of his penis was coming out of his anus. But this is under the expert care of these people that are going to now vaccinate us. And you know how many evidences that we have of historic medical racism from these people purposely utilizing us as guinea pigs. And to hear the minister say that, it shook me to the core of my being, Ron. Because no matter how much we think we know, how much are we deceived into believing in them, our oppressors? So the only thing I said, because Don Lemon asked him, what does he feel his legacy was? He said, I don't do that. That's a sign of vanity. He said what he believes in, and I find this interesting, he believes in God, he believes in the Word of God, and he believes in being a good servant. And I can understand that. I accept that. You hear a lot of Christians say that.
Right.
But you know what I'd rather say? I'd rather say I ultimately, before I pass and expire from this plane, have been a truth seeker. Now, that's me. I can't speak for anyone else.
Indeed.
I know I fall short of that. But if I can tell my children, my grandchildren, that is the one thing that motivated and drove me, and then I can provide them some facts, because I want to ask you this in parting. What you meant about cleaning it up or correcting. I'm not sure, because I won't put words in your mouth. I'm going to say my piece and I'm going to part. But if I don't go and find that tree and pursue that genealogical record and go as far back as I can, because what disturbs me with Henry Louis Gates and Finding Your Roots is he perpetuates the mythology that chattel slavery wipes out our record. And this is what he uses to keep reinforcing to people who are ignorant, who are confused, who are misguided, to believe that they will only find an origin source in the slave narrative. And that must end. And I yield.
Indeed, brother. Indeed, brother 832. Thank you so much as always, coming in, dropping them jewels. Helen, Purple Pill dropped the old white lady who used to be at the little press secretary conference, who said her piece before she left, Helen Thomas. That was her name. So thank you, brother 832. Very, very, very well said. All right. Sis, did you have something to put on it?
No, I'm good. I can live off of that for a while.
I know, y'all, and we only have 15 minutes. So
and it's good food for the soul.
Very good food for the soul. So I'm not gonna start because we've actually in a fresh new chapter. We still on we'll start off next week because we're going into the Civil War. So we need to get deep into that. So I don't want to start that. Actually, now we're going into 10 minutes. So everyone has, as usual, done a wonderful job tonight, bringing forth so much great information that is really making this series very powerful, and we truly appreciate it. So we're going to get into the last words. Sis, you have any last words for the family?
You know, it's like a banquet. and you're not going to get fat on it. You're just going to get full. And your soul is going to get happy because your Akashic record is saying, yay, you found me, you found me, you found me. So I enjoy 713-832 and Sister Cheryl, and I enjoy the fact that we are on the path that we need to be on, and we're here because we're supposed to be here. It's not coincidence.
Indeed.
It's not coincidence at all. It's because this is where we're supposed to be. You may not like it, you may not like me, but we're supposed to be here together. And I appreciate the family. I appreciate you and Brother Sean for the platform that we have to express our feelings and our needs to grow and to get out of this paradigm that somebody else tried to make for us, that we can change it and make it for ourselves.
Indeed, indeed. And I appreciate you also, sis. Brother Sean, you have any last words for the family?
Let me see. Once again, family, it's about self. What are you prepared to do as far as your bloodline? We don't have energy to waste on anything else. Can't afford to give your energy away. Whether that's in a misguided love or hatred. We know that certain people have done certain things, but you don't want hatred to keep you in their gang. I'm not saying love them. Love yourself enough to elevate to higher frequencies where they don't exist. I'm not saying don't defend yourself if somebody put their hands on you.
Right.
Knock that head all the way the fuck off.
Yep.
But love yourself. If you say you do, love yourself more. There's nothing wrong with that. Loving yourself is loving mama. That's why you're here, because mama wanted you here.
That's right.
Love yourself enough to love and respect her. And you'd be surprised at how things turn around. Because they gonna be gone. It's already over. Stay your course so that you don't fall. You're ascending. You don't want to fall again. Wholeness and power, family. Love y'all.
All right, family. I do want to thank my YouTube family, Purple Pill, Scotty Saturn, Epic Souls, Sis Tressie. I know I'm missing some people. Of course, Sis T, the one who walks among the mist. We love your indigenous name, sis. I see Sis Divinity in the house. Can't remember if I said Sis Cheryl or not. I know H2O was in the house also. So I want to thank all of the YouTube family. Oh, and I see you, son of Mother Earth. Peace and love to you as well, beloved. I also want to thank the family callers. I see you all in the house. Want to thank Sis 713 for coming on and sharing your declaration with the family, sharing what you put in the ethers, what you documented in the Akashic records. Thank you so much for sharing that, sis. Not sure if you realize, but you gave a lot of jewels by coming on, posing those questions. You gave the blueprint to others on exactly what they need to be doing. So thank you for that. And of course, again, thank you, Brother 832, for coming on, putting something on it. You are truly appreciated as well. And of course, thank you to my co-hosts, Sis Sandra and Brother Sean, for putting up with my crazy ass every week, y'all. Every week.
Your pleasure and honor.
So, family, we're going to be back next week. We're going to get back up into the material. Although I still had a couple other things I want to go over with the go ahead on with the fuckery. So hopefully we can get that next week. So we're going to get into this Civil War. Because there was also much more than what, of course, they talked that they were telling us about. So we're going to actually rock out with Sis's 713 Ernie's Jam. I found it, sis. So I'm finna play that for y'all, rock out with y'all with that. So sorry, YouTube family. We're gonna have to say goodbye to you all.